Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Sports radio is back.
Knoblauch moving the puck. Knoblauch moved in, and an Edmonton area kid has the opening goal.
The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
OG ties it.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Trout to the end zone. Touchdown. Takedown. C.J. Stroud.
Una poca de gracia, María, arriba y arriba.
Well, a magnificent Monday afternoon. How are you? Welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440. Coming to you live as well on Oilers Nation YouTube. You can always get involved. Text us 833-401-1440 in our Jiffy Lube inbox. It is the Jason Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the lovely province of Alberta. It's PlayAlberta.ca. And if you would have put at the start of the season, PlayAlberta.ca, the odds that Jay Woodcroft would have been fired, well, the first coach fired during the year, most people probably wouldn't have taken that bet. But there you go. He was 39, 41, and 3. 79, 79, 41, and 13. In 133 games, they won 79 of them. Had the sixth most wins in the NHL over that span. But the Oilers, Jeff Jackson, along with Ken Holland, decided that, you know what? We got to make a change. And Jay Woodcroft, he's the guy who's out. And Chris Knoblauch comes in. Knoblauch, of course, won WHL title with Kootenay. He won an OHL title with Erie. He has been in the Rangers organization as their head coach in Hartford the past few seasons. Of course, was a former member of the University of Alberta Golden Bears. So there's lots of Bears that have coached now in the NHL, but he is a head coach, right? You've had Rob Dahm. You've had Ian Herbers as coaches in the NHL. Yeah, of course, Billy Morse. Claire Drake was with the Winnipeg Jets. Trying to see, is there other Bear connections as players or coaches who went to the NHL? But Knoblauch is now the main man, the head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. He has been on an NHL bench 2 years as an assistant coach in Philly. And also, he was 6 games filling in for the Rangers when David Quinn had COVID. The entire staff was isolated, so he's on the bench. But he did say, obviously, it's a lot different. You know what? You're just kind of filling in. You knew he wasn't there. You can relax. It was a lot of fun. You know, there's not as much pressure. But now there's the pressure, but also the excitement of being an NHL head coach. So we'll break down that. We'll hear from Knoblauch. Got a little emotional today, as he should. It's a big moment, man. Pretty emotional today, of course, for him, as he is now going to be an NHL head coach. It's a pretty big deal. It's not a lot of people that can say, I was an NHL head coach. Much fewer than people can say they're NHL players. So, but it is a job that's maybe not as comfortable long-term as being a player. Now, if you have success, but hey, as we just showed, you have success in your Jay Woodcroft, that doesn't guarantee you success. So the Oilers, hey, here's the thing. They got to play better. Full stop. Nothing else. We can sit here and say, maybe Woodcroft wasn't perfect. Of course, no one's perfect. But the Oilers' 3-9-1 record does not fall solely on the shoulders of Jay Woodcroft and Dave Manson. No chance. Zero chance of that. So I know a lot of people talk about the new coach bump. I do wonder if there's the old coach guilt kind of mixed in. I'm not sure which percentage is even for which, but the Oilers simply got to play better. And the good news for Chris Knoblauch is they will play better. Connor McDavid enters tonight 130th in NHL scoring. 130th. Now, he's still first in the last 6 years, but he's 130th this year. He's played the most minutes of any forward. Let's stop about the injury. I think it's gotten way too much play. If a guy's banged up, is he taking extra time after practice and battle drills? No. Is he doing all the face-off drills? No. Right? McDavid, he said it himself. He spent extra time after practice with Dylan Holloway because he's got to try to work his way out of his funk. Even the greatest player in the game can be in an offensive funk. The good news for McDavid is I really haven't seen him making any egregious defensive errors. So that's good. Right? Because that's a big problem for the majority of his teammates. But Connor McDavid is paid to score points. And right now, he's not doing that. He's got to produce more. Simple. I don't think he would like it. Don't give excuses. Okay, don't give excuses. Connor McDavid, 5 times in his NHL career, has gone 3 straight games without a point. He's currently mired in the 5th time, which is crazy. He's never gone 4 in a row. Lock and load at a McDavid point tonight. He's never done it. Never. I'm not really in a position to make bets right now, so I probably will have. I'm just giving you the facts. Okay? I lost a bet last week that take a long time to recover from. So I'm just giving you the insight that McDavid has never gone 4 games in his NHL career without a point. Ever. So do that with what you will at playalberta.ca. Think about it. But he's got to produce more. The Leon Draisaitl his body language frustrations got to be better. The Oilers got to protect the puck better. Take more low risk plays. Live to fight another day. Don't try to win the game on every shift. You can't do it. If it's a 1-1 game, now's not the time to take a low percentage risky play. Don't do it, especially tonight against the New York Islanders, who are a team that can't score. They haven't been able to score for years. They're not suddenly going to become an offensive juggernaut. Okay, that's not in their DNA. That's not who they are. So play smart. They come in losers of 4 in a row, 0-3-1. They'll be desperate, yes. But even their elite goaltender, Ilya Sorokin, by his standards, is meh. He's at .907 save percentage. His goaltending partner, Varlamov, has gotten 5 starts. They've been rotating now for the last 8 games. Sorokin, Varlamov, Sorokin, Varlamov, Sorokin, Varlamov, Sorokin, Varlamov. And now it's Sorokin's turn tonight. We'll talk to Kevin Woodley about that. As crazy as it sounds, the way they're playing, the Oilers might be getting the better goalie to face. Now, that's like saying you'd rather face McDavid than Nugent Hopkins. Right? I don't think so long term, but for one night, maybe. So we'll see if the Oilers can take advantage of Sorokin not being at the top of his game. The Oilers played a really good game in Seattle. That was the recipe. They scored early, right? Banging around the net, right? Zach Hyman. And then they didn't give up any glorious chances. And, oh, by the way, they got a save in the first period on a high danger chance. I know some people are like, well, goalies never have to save the high danger. Yeah, every now and then would be nice, and Stuart Skinner did. And then the Oilers in the second period, you're up or not. They didn't sit back. They outshot the Seattle Kraken 9-4. Now they sat back in the third period. Sure, I don't care. That's when you should sit back. They didn't, and it's not like Seattle pumped them. Edmonton just didn't take any dumb risks. And look, they win the game fairly comfortable 4-1. It's amazing how that works. So we'll see. You know what? Knoblauch's in a great position, man. Just like Jay Woodcroft was. Woodcroft inherited a team that was underachieving, and it got them to play better. And now the Oilers, we'll see if they do the same. The challenge is going to be what happens in a year and a half. Are they going to stay committed? Or is this player group going to be like, meh, we'll go back to how we want? That's going to be the challenge for Chris Knoblauch. Maybe another coach being fired is the wake-up call the group needs. I have no idea. I'm not even going to try to pretend that I know that I can say with confidence that the older players are ready to do it. I just can't. So we'll see. You can always text in the show, 833-401-1440 in our Jiffy Lube inbox. Coming up today on the show, Bronte will be by the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate. Of course, TR will join us. Not going to co-host the full one today because, hey, he's shooting. Busy day at Shoresy for old TR, but he'll make some time for us. Dale Arnold, author of the book Tough Guys. It's going to be a great interview. He'll join us at 3:20. Andi Petrillo will be by. Butch Goring, one of the greatest buckets in NHL history, analyst for the Islanders, will pop by, give us his thoughts on the Islanders. Like, I can't be surprised. Like, I'm surprised the Oilers' offense is 26th. They were the best offense in the league last year. They've been one of the high-scoring teams for years. Right? Let's be honest. We're all surprised the Edmonton Oilers are struggling scoring. If someone would have told you at the start of the year the Oilers would be struggling defensively, you'd be like, okay, I could buy that. Struggling offensively, not many people were buying that. But the Islanders struggling defensively, put money on it all day long. They didn't make any changes in the offseason and thought that suddenly their offense would get it better. It was a terrible bet, and it's showing. We'll get to Spec. Kevin Woodley will be by. Also, we'll get to the lineups for tonight a little bit later on. Some line changes from the head coach. Also, we will hear from the head coach, Chris Knoblauch, and some of the older players, the Nurse, McDavid, and Draisaitl. As the three leaders were all front and center today, as they had to talk about, another coach on the way out. So we'll hear from them coming up this hour in the National Football League. Quite the weekend. Quite the game between the Browns and the Ravens, back and forth, and the Browns end up victorious. What about Houston and Cincinnati? Those two games kind of lived up to the billing. Minnesota, Josh Dobbs. Are you a believer, Connor Halley? Are you a believer in Mr. Dobbs?
The past or not, I have to be. This guy's a genius. He gets out there, he makes plays happen, he utilizes his weapons, and he's only going to get better with the return of Justin Jefferson. So, heck yeah, I believe.
And the Chargers and Lions, exciting game. But again, your Chargers on the wrong end.
Yeah, well, when you have a defensive guru like Brandon Staley, what do you expect, right? That was frustrating. The Detroit Lions, I mean, they have so many weapons on the offensive side of the ball. By no means did I expect the Chargers to slow them down that much, but I didn't think it'd be that easy. That was a hot knife through butter, or whatever the saying is. They absolutely torched that Chargers defense. It was embarrassing. But I do like what Detroit's doing. Good to see that them finally turn it around. That fan base has suffered for a long time, and it looks like Dan Campbell has them going in the right direction. Just got to figure out their defense as well.
Yeah, well, they're in a good spot. But, hey, the Vikings are right behind them, man. The Vikings, how many teams lose their starting quarterback, then go out and make a trade, and boom, they're still in it, man. So give them a lot of credit. I give them a lot of credit in Miami in Minnesota. And they might have just found their future quarterback without having to go and pay huge money. And Kirk Cousins might be testing free agency now. We'll see. I know it's early. I don't want to make a knee-jerk reaction, but there's people that are high on Dobbs before he got there. So it is something to monitor. For if he finishes the season strong, I could see Minnesota saying, well, hey, we can save money there. We can spend some elsewhere. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I mean, he's proven it, right? He's been that journeyman. It looks like he's fit in quite well there. And they have a good team. I mean, they've got weapons there. They've got some good running backs. Obviously, the Akers injury isn't ideal. But like I said, Justin Jefferson getting close to returning. You mix him in there with Addison, and then Hawkinson. They've got a good group there. And yeah, if they can just turn those little losses into wins like they did last season, Detroit's got someone hot on their tail for sure.
And the Grey Cup will be handed out this weekend as the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the Montreal Alouettes will be doing battle in the 110th Grey Cup on Sunday. Full marks for the Alouettes. They go into Toronto and spank them 38-17. And like, there was a no-doubter. And even Winnipeg never looked like, that game was really in doubt against the BC Lions. So kind of unfortunate if you were looking for any kind of snooze fest. Like, the Argos had nothing going through three quarters. They got some I guess, garbage time points. But that one was pretty much done after 3 quarters. What was it, 24-3 after 3 quarters? And you know what? Give them credit. Give Montreal credit. They came in, they got things done, man. You know, but it wasn't like they got it done without really doing much. Like Fajardo had 175 yards passing, right? I think he led them in rushing. Like it was kind of a boring game, to be honest, Konza.
38 yards he had to lead them in rushing. Their running backs went for 31 yards, Gregor.
On 12 carries
on 12
combined.
carries, yeah. You're right. But I don't think any Alouettes fans are too concerned. I'm sure Coach Moss is pretty thrilled about how it worked out.
Well, his defense won the game.
Exactly. And I like what they've done. I mean, they went out and got, they made some moves in the regular season, right? Sending some players away. I believe it was Jamal Davis, the edge that they sent away to Hamilton. Like, They got their guys in there that want to buy into the system, and they got the job done. And then on the flip side, Winnipeg, some revenge maybe for last year, maybe want to get back on top of the mountain. So it's going to be a fun Grey Cup, and that game surprised me. I think we all expected more out of Kelly and that Argos offense.
Well, hey, 4 interceptions. Who thought that coming?
Not me.
Right? Not me either. So that's why you play the games, baby. That's why you play the game. So coming up, Bronte will join us. Got a lot of texts to get to. 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, I could see this backfiring pretty badly. Replacing a duo with 671 percentage with guys with no NHL experience. Talk about a bold move from AD. Well, just for the record, Jay Woodcroft had no NHL head coaching experience either, right? When he took over. So Chris Knoblauch was an NHL assistant coach for a few years. Not as many as Woodcroft. Paul Coffey. Now, Paul Coffey's the one. If we want to have a conversation, that to me is the conversation. He's an advisor to the owner, and now he's an assistant coach. It is a unique position to be in. Honestly, I can't ever think of one where you've had an advisor to the owner who's now also an assistant coach. I don't sense that Coffey's going to be the assistant coach. I don't think it's a guarantee it's all year. Maybe it does become that way, but I won't be shocked if this is one where, hey, we're bringing in the new coach. We got an assistant coach that, and they got Mark Stewart there, right? The guy's played, he's coached. It's not like he doesn't know anything about defense either, right? Coffey's coaching nowadays a lot of times is as much about communication as anything else, right? Like the system's a system. You get little messages here, there, but overall, I thought Coffey's one statement about, hey, just play the odds depending on where you are on the ice. If it's a low-risk play, stop trying to make it. Simple. Right? You heard they really want the defense to move the puck. Watch for that. That's the one thing that was stressed by their new head coach, Mr. Knoblauch. They're looking to move the puck up quickly from their defense. So we'll see how that plays out. It makes sense, of course, with the speed of their forward group. But, the Coffey one, could this one go awry? Yeah. That one surprises me more than Knoblauch. I had Chris Knoblauch as a guy I thought the Rangers should hire. I think he's got a pretty good track record. I have no problem with a coach getting an opportunity. The Coffey ones does make you wonder, how is this going to go in the room? Everybody knows he's an advisor. He's been around the team for 15 months. So he knows the players, but he doesn't know them as well as when you're the coach. It's just different. So can you massage both sides, right? That's a tough one. So we'll see. I know many of you, hey, Greg's any truth to the rumor Jackson's going to fire Ken Holland and bring in LeBron McDavid's dad to be the GM? What a Mickey Mouse organization from Tyler. Again, I understand how this looks for people, but Connor McDavid did not ask for this. That I can say 100% with certainty. That did not happen. And again, though, you can look and say, people, now maybe strong organizations shouldn't care what outside people think of them. And maybe in real life too, like people I've never met, what they think about me is probably none of my business. I really don't care, right? Why? You're never going to impress everyone. So why should you be too worried about it? Right. I think that's valid. But I agree that you look and say, hey, but Knoblauch, yeah, he coached him, but he coached him like 9 years ago. Those guys barely stay in touch. Right. So that, I don't know how much, there's a connection there. How deep rooted is it? Either party made it sound like it was, they might be able to exchange texts every now and then, but nothing like where you're regularly communicating. right? So you're like, oh, yeah, I know the guy, but yeah, he used to coach him for sure. The advantage Knoblauch will have is when he sits down to speak with Connor McDavid. And if he says, hey, Connor, here's something I think, maybe McDavid will listen to it a little bit more because it's not a brand new voice. It's someone that at least has a connection with. So we'll see how it goes. Hey, Gregor, I appreciate how you talk facts and news about the team and not speculation. Love the show from Nick. Well, Nick, I think it's important, man. I take my job seriously. I don't like to. We have a lot of fun. Trust me. We make a lot of stupid comments. Hi, betting to grow your hair out, idiot. Right, but really, at the end of the day, that's not something that's what's going to impact my life, but really no one else's. I don't like to make guesses, especially when like I'm around the team, but I'm not around the team, and even any media guy's never fully around the team. Right? They don't tell you everything. You're never going to get to know everything. You try to get some sources, but then you got to make sure you're trusting the source and to know. But from people that I've trusted for many years, I can tell you that McDavid had nothing to do with this hiring. Nothing. Right? Like, I know people want to have fun with it. If you want to have fun with it, that's okay. But I'm just telling you, in all seriousness, he didn't. Hey, Gregor, how come the goalie coach didn't get fired? Doug. Well, I guess they didn't feel that it was worthwhile firing him. We'll talk to Kevin Woodley about that. Coming up on the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
At The Brick, we're not just proud of this city and its rich sports history. We're proud partners of it. The Brick started right here in Edmonton over 50 years ago. And when we're not cheering on the Oilers and Oil Kings live at the game, or the Edmonton Elks under the bright stadium lights, we're in our stores, providing everything you need to cheer them on in your home. The Brick, supporting Edmonton sports teams and fans since 1971, saving you more.
It's a triumphant return to the airwaves. Hi, I'm Colin from Cantork, and this is a great call. Cantork proudly continues our partnership with Jason Gregor, eagerly rejoining his team on Sports 1440.
There's two seasons in Alberta, winter and construction. During these days of traffic barricades and slower commutes, GS Construction reminds you those crews are improving our communities. They're rehabilitating and upgrading Edmonton's infrastructure all across the city. When you see the barricades and run into a traffic backup, remember, the crews are there to help. Drive slow and be patient. Help make our city better and join the GS Construction team. See what they're hiring for on Indeed.com. GS Construction, laying the groundwork for your community since 1974.
Get your vehicle ready for winter with Jiffy Lube. Drive in, drive out service with 25 extra air miles with your Shell Go Plus app. Be wise, winterize. Jiffy Lube, keeping you moving.
What's better than getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee? Getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee for only $4 plus tax. It's your favorite McDonald's breakfast for less. What's better than that? For a limited time at participating McDonald's in Canada, prices exclude delivery.
A full-service provider of heavy haul transportation and rigging at the highest level. Next Gen Transportation.
We're developing new and innovative ways to transport oversized and overweight equipment to remote and challenging locations.
Our Next Gen team leads with a wealth of experience and expertise. But most importantly, we put safety first, so everyone gets home safely.
We also take great pride in supporting our local community programs and teams. Good luck to everyone this season and in the year ahead.
Visit nextgentransportation.com.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
Rodeo clowning felt like an exciting opportunity. Boy, was I ever wrong. The bulls. So predictable. But you know what's exciting and unpredictable? PlayAlberta.ca. I can bet on any sports game, play online casino games anytime, and buy lottery tickets anywhere.
PlayAlberta.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today and get over $100 in welcome bonuses. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Need a change to winter tires? Drop by a Mr. Lube location for no appointment tire service and sales, open 7 days a week. If you're in Spruce Grove, visit Mr. Lube on the corner of Century Road and McLeod Avenue, or shop tires online at mrlube.com.
Tackle winter weather with the X-Series snowblowers from Cub Cadet. Available in single, 2, and 3-stage models, the X-Series is engineered with powerful engines to quickly break through snow. Select models come with additional features like power steering for ease of handling and heated hand grips for comfort in cold conditions. Be prepared for winter with the Cub Cadet X-Series. Stop into Highline Motorsports, your locally owned Cub Cadet dealer at 4715 39th Ave in Wetaskiwin for expertise in finding the right equipment for your landscaping needs.
Fact: 1 in 6 Alberta men will face prostate cancer, so please support the Man Van, the mobile testing clinic for prostate cancer. Visit prostatecancercenter.ca to donate in November and keep it in Alberta. All donations go towards the Man Van and stay right here in Edmonton.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, the clear choice for all your auto, residential, and commercial glass. Call 310 Glass or book now at crystalglass.ca.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
I can't sleep cause my bed's on fire. Don't touch me, I'm a real live wire. Psycho killer, qu'est-ce que c'est? Better run, 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 run away. Oh, psycho killer, qu'est-ce que c'est? Better run, 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 run away. Oh, oh,
$2.25. Sports 1440 live on Oilers Nation YouTube. It is the Jason Gregor Show. Welcome back. How are you? I hope you had a great weekend. I know some of you get the day off today in lieu of Remembrance Day. Hopefully you took the appropriate time to thank those who have served or those who are serving today. It's now the Oil Report brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton.com, where you stop in till the end of this month, baby. Unbelievable sales, $7,500 off that you can save on any 2023 model. You want to get the sleek S60 or the XC90s or any other vehicle, check it out. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. As Ruben Bronte, Robin Brownlee, joins us. Rubes, another year, another new coach in Edmonton. No one can say that Jay Woodcroft didn't have success. They obviously haven't had success in 13 games this season, but overall, there was success. What do you make of the move? Did you like the timing of it? And what do you think of Knoblauch?
Well, a lot to unpack there. I don't like the timing of the move. I think it's too soon to write off the season. I know every loss, as it adds up, you tend to get more worried about how far you've got to come back, and the math starts to get daunting even at this point if you don't turn it around. What I don't like about the timing, though, Jay, is this. You're bringing in a new coach, a coach who's unfamiliar with your players, a coach who is largely unfamiliar with your opponents at this point, and he's got to try and hit the ground running, and that's really difficult. I don't like it for that reason. If he's not darn near perfect, if they take a while to get going, those losses that you were worried about piling up under Woodcroft might happen anyway, through no fault of Knoblauch. I don't know that how he can step in and just say, okay, let's go. There's no settle in time. Guy with no experience, save those games you mentioned, the 6 games as a fill-in. If you come in the off season, you come in for training camp, you've worked your way up through the organizational charts, they've decided to give you your shot. That's one thing. Dropped into the middle of things after 13 games is tough for anybody. And that's what I don't like about the timing. You ask about Knoblauch. He struck me listening to the Avail this morning. He seems to me to be a very thoughtful guy.
Yeah,
He thinks about what he's going to say before he says it, not just a lot of pat answers that you've heard 100 times before. He struck me as right away as a man of character. I'm gonna be. I get to be. I'll be like him on this one because I, like you, can get emotional. His response to the "Who got you here?" Question tells me something about the man, and I have never sat down and talked with him. But a guy who reacts like that under these circumstances, where it could be all about him and all about the hockey, when he talks about his family, that showed me something right there.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? You should never take it for granted. It was, it's unfortunate. One thing I didn't love about the press conference yesterday, if it was me, I would have had the GM and CEO out first, talk about the Woodcroft and Manson, get that all out, and then say, okay, now we're going to welcome in our new head coach. And, you can talk about it. It's a big moment for Chris Knoblauch. It's not his fault that he's replacing someone, and that's unfortunate. But just like somebody, when you get called up, everybody's like excited for the guy who gets called up. They're, not worrying about the person's spot they're taking. So, we'll see Knoblauch. I thought he was pretty honest in his assessment. He's like, hey, we're not reinventing the wheel. He was honest. He goes, I prefer to play zone defense. And zone defense isn't hard. Like, I saw, Woodcroft got fired because he tried to change the system. He put in zone defense, which a lot of teams do. And guess what? Knoblauch's going to do it too. The players, their job is to execute. It's not that hard. It's not that difficult of a system. My goodness, you're playing in your little quadrant. Like, figure it out. It's not that hard. So, he also talked, he's not going to change a whole bunch, little tweaks here and there. And as they go along, he'll look to incorporate new things. But you know what? For the first few games, when they win, he even said, he goes, like, eventually it will become my team. Even he admits, like, the Oilers win tonight, he'll get the record of the W. But, right, it's not like he did anything magical that Woodcroft didn't do, because Woodcroft won his last game as the head coach. So, that's why changing the coach does something. But to me, it just reiterates, if this team ever wants to go deep, they're going to need a better commitment from their players long term. We saw it last year for the final 40 games, and it disappeared in the playoffs, at least the defensive ones, and taking too many high risks. And that's what's been killing him again this year. So that's what I'm going to watch for, Robin. And then the one thing that the coach can't control is if those high risk decisions keep occurring. And I'm not saying the first time it happens, because it'll be the first time under his watch. But if it occurs multiple times, will we see the coach hold the top 10 skaters accountable? That's what I'll be waiting to see.
Yeah, you know what? That scenario is really important. He can't come in here and, to that part of it, holding people accountable, try and be Mr. Hard-Ass or something he's not. What he can do is hold players accountable, as you suggest, when it needs to be done. He's probably going to have to back off a little bit. I mean, for argument's sake, tonight's game could be full of blunders, and he can't go full 9 yards his first time behind the bench. He's going to make mental notes, and he probably, hey, fellas, this, that, and the other thing. But he's got to do it. And we touched on it off the top, Jason. Yet another coach. I wrote today, and I know you wrote as well, I thought the coaching carousel here had stopped, at least for a little while, with Woodcroft. But at the bottom line, it's up to the players. The coach can influence his group of players, but he's not going to make a terrible team great. He's not going to make a great team terrible. It's up to the players. And after a while, when you start adding up the number of guys who've coached here, and you just have to go back as far as from Connor McDavid's first season, it's too many. It's not the coaches. You had a guy who in for argument, just to mention one guy, Ken Hitchcock, yes, at the end of his career, but who came in here, he's going into the Hall of Fame tonight as a coach. He's the 4th winningest coach in history. He didn't turn this thing around. Okay, you have a young guy like Jay Woodcroft, he turns it around. He didn't get stupid between last season and this season, but the results weren't there. And you have to go with the results, but the fact is, it's the players. Pick a percentage, 90% of it, 85%, 95%. It's the players. If they execute, if they're committed, you've got a chance to win. If they don't, it doesn't matter if Scotty Bowman's coaching you, you're not going to win. And that's the problem here. So I hope the players look around the room and go, you know what, we're on the verge of blowing something here, because we felt like legit contenders when we started talking about cup or bust, and when we had 109 points, and when we got beat in the Western Conference final, we came up short. We thought we could take the next step. Instead, they've taken a big step back. You better get it done now, because if you got to start another rebuild, or one of the big guys says, I don't know about this situation, I might try my luck elsewhere, and that's not a threat or anybody suggesting that's what they're thinking, but at some point it could happen. Man, take this team and turn it around now. You've got largely the same group of guys who put back-to-back 100-point seasons together, and it's just gone horribly wrong in 13 games. It doesn't mean it has to stay wrong. I hope he has some success, but it's going to come down to the guys wearing the uniforms, not the guys standing behind the bench.
Robin Brownlee joins us on Sports 1440 live on Oilers Nation YouTube. Knoblauch came in, first move that's really kind of significant. Not that we've never seen it before, but he splits up McDavid and Draisaitl. He has Nugent Hopkins with McDavid and Kane with Draisaitl. That's the one move that's actually quite different, because McDavid and Draisaitl have never really had a ton of, McDavid and Nugent Hopkins haven't had as much success as Draisaitl and Nugent Hopkins for whatever reason. And so I like Kane with Draisaitl and Hyman. It's a big, heavier line, no question. When Connor Brown is in, which might happen as early as Wednesday, I would think he would take Sam Gagner's spot on the top line for sure. But I wonder, like, the one move I could see here is Nugent Hopkins and Kane possibly swapping, or maybe he's just got a different idea on how he's going to want to coach. So it's something for me to watch. But I will say, and I'm only basing this on what I heard in his response yesterday, is he believes being a player, players like consistency. And so I think we won't see as much of a blender on lines unless there's injuries.
Yeah, you're probably right. He may take looks at combinations. He may feel right away, oh, that's not how I thought it would be, or I didn't like that much. It doesn't mean it's consistently shuffling guys around. He may have them together for a game. If he goes, I don't see a match here, then maybe he makes a switch or two, but it's not up and down the lineup, and it's not necessarily period by period. I'm interested to see how this initial set of lines work. Some people have noted, well, he's going away from the status quo with McDavid and Draisaitl. It's not really the status quo if you look at how much they play together and how much they don't overall. They spend, that's the fail-safe. When you need those guys, yeah, you can bet they end up together, and some people see that as a negative. I don't necessarily see it that way when you need to get back into a hockey game, but I want to see this initial set of lines. Sam Gagner going from PTO to top line minutes is an interesting concept. He won't stay there, but yeah, let's have a look. But I want to see the jump. I want to see the commitment to the little details, because you don't have to come out with your hair on fire. You want to come out hard and you want to come out with energy, but you want to come out smart and, play as you can. We haven't seen the Oilers play as they can often enough this season, Jason. They've been terrible. They've been getting beat off the rush. They're not a track meet team. Yes, they're an offensive team, but when they get into a track meet, they don't fare too well. So bring the puck up the ice, spend some time in the offensive zone. And speaking of the offensive zone, spend a little time defending your own area in front of the net. They need that on the opposite end of the rink too. They need a lot of things when you got 3 wins at this point, but I'm interested to see a change. I'm not looking for a bounce. You expect a bounce in energy when they change coaches, but I want to see some things you can go, hey, that's better defense. That's better gap. That's a stronger looking box. That PK looks sharper. That power play looks good because it's been slowly fading a little bit. There's a lot of things to keep an eye on going into tonight against the Islanders. That's for sure.
Well, the good news is they're taking on a team like this is the easiest game not to take risks. The Islanders' offense is putrid. It's been putrid for years. You can say, you know what? This is a game we could win 2-1 because we're pretty confident the other team isn't going to generate a lot of offense. And as an Oilers team, you should be confident you could out-generate chances on them. That's the way I would. Like, you should never have to worry about playing high-level risk hockey against the Islanders because they don't have a lot of offense. No. It's a fact. They haven't had offense for years. So, you know what? The Oilers, hey, against Seattle, same thing. Seattle, a little banged up. They don't have a ton of offensive juggernauts on their team, and that's what Edmonton did. Edmonton didn't give up many glaring chances. And when they did, the goalie actually did his job and made a save, which is crazy how that works.
Yeah, it's what a weird concept, eh? Yeah, absolutely. This team, I honestly believe, Jason, because it's easy to forget what you said or what you wrote because I'm as guilty of it as anybody sometimes. I thought this team could, and in fact stronger than that, I shouldn't even back off, would win the Stanley Cup this year. Well, that's so far out the window right now. It's okay to be wrong. That's not the object of the exercise. But I've just been so surprised that they just haven't put together stretches where you go, that's just bad luck, or it's a bad break, or it's a bad bounce, or man, if they would have got a save. Yeah, some nights it's a save. Some nights it's a PK. Some nights it's the 5-on-5 play and the overall team defense. There's been so many little fires to put out to this point. It's easy to forget that this was a pretty good team these last couple years. And if they take care of their own business, because I haven't seen a team come in and beat them down because they were a far superior team. I know that opening loss to Vancouver's an improved club, but 8 goals, man, no, that's not the difference between these teams. They've done a lot of little things to take a step back as opposed to, it was a mirage that they were as good as they were the last 2 years. This is a good team. Go out and prove it.
Rubes, have a good one. We'll talk to you Thursday.
You sure will. Thanks, Jason.
It's Robin Brownlee joins us every Monday and Thursday on Sports 1440. Got a lot of texts coming in. I do want to read this one before we go to break. Hey guys, isn't it concerning the Oilers have so many U of A connections? Cates and Stauffer alumni. But we know, but now they hired Knoblauch, gave Schwartz a job for life despite his incompetence. The U of A is a great hockey program, but it's not an NHL factory like Alabama or Ohio State in football. It's a really bad look for the Oilers being stuck in a local bubble and not looking elsewhere to help the franchise win the ultimate or winning the cup. You better read this. Grow some balls. From Dirtbag. I always love those ones like, oh yeah, oh my God, if I don't read the Dirtbag's text here, geez, they're gonna shrivel up to little seeds. First of all, so Daryl Cates is an alumni of the U of A, but he's also someone who canceled the U of A Oilers rookie game because he didn't like how they're dealing with things. The goalie coach did play at the university. That's factual. Not sure what more of a connection you want there to suggest that they control things. Are you suggesting that Staff had a say in Chris Knoblauch being the head coach here? It's a real good reach. Because you're saying it's the U of A mafia. Everyone else is saying it's the Erie Audi mafia. How many mafias are there that's running this? It's Daryl Cates. Daryl Cates is the owner. He's the one. He's got Paul Coffey as an advisor. Right? Brought in Jeff Jackson. This is Jeff Jackson's move. Jeff Jackson was the one actually that has a stronger connection to Knoblauch than Cates ever did. And that's what you're missing, Dirtbag. Go look at Jeff Jackson. Of course, he was Connor McDavid's agent. Connor McDavid's junior coach for the only 3 years he was there was Chris Knoblauch. Then you look at how many other clients that played for Chris Knoblauch that would be able to give Jeff Jackson a player's insight into how he was as a coach. And then he has clients who played for him in the American League, who played for him in Philadelphia. This is much more Jeff Jackson than the U of A Mafia. Like, if you guys are going to come up with conspiracy theories, at least take a few moments to do a deep dive and go down the right rabbit hole. You're digging with the hamsters right now, not even with the groundhogs. You're not close to digging down the wrong conspiracy angle right now. Take a quick break. We'll come back. We have a 2-minute warning with Cam Tate and more on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
At The Brick, we're not just proud of this city and its rich sports history. We're proud partners of it. The Brick started right here in Edmonton over 50 years ago. And when we're not cheering on the Oilers and Oil Kings live at the game, or the Edmonton Elks under the bright stadium lights, we're in our stores, providing everything you need to cheer them on in your home. The Brick, supporting Edmonton sports teams and fans since 1971, saving you more.
There's 2 seasons in Alberta, winter and construction. During these days of traffic barricades and slower commutes, GS Construction reminds you those crews are improving our communities. They're rehabilitating and upgrading Edmonton's infrastructure all across the city. When you see the barricades and run into a traffic backup, remember, the crews are there to help. Drive slow and be patient. Help make our city better and join the GS Construction team. See what they're hiring for on Indeed.com. GS Construction, laying the groundwork for your community since 1974.
At Wolf GMC Buick, all Denali's are on sale. Terrain, Acadia, Sierra, Yukon, all Denali's are on sale. Get special 0% financing for 48 months on all remaining Sierra Denali half-tons because all Denali's are on sale. I'm not kidding. Every in-stock 2023 GMC Denali is on sale. All Denali's are on sale. Hurry into Wolf GMC Buick for the best selection. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy because all Denali's are on sale.
Building or renovating, you want to work with someone who sees and understands your vision. BIE Engineering is a family-owned, experienced structural engineering consulting firm serving commercial and residential clients in Edmonton and surrounding area. Homeowner or large company, they'll work with you to help see your ideas through. BIE Engineering can help prevent problems, deliver solutions, and minimize your risk. BIE Engineering. Request a quote for your project today. Visit BIEENG.com.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
Full-service provider of heavy haul transportation and rigging at the highest level. Next Gen Transportation.
We're developing new and innovative ways to transport oversized and overweight equipment to remote and challenging locations.
Our Next Gen team leads with a wealth of experience and expertise. But most importantly, we put safety first, so everyone gets home safely.
We also take great pride in supporting our local community programs and teams. Good luck to everyone this season and in the year ahead.
Visit nextgentransportation.com.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
There's nothing like having a little skin in the game to make things interesting. But when a little skin becomes more than you can afford to lose, it's time to take a break from sports betting. Set a budget and stick to it. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Drive into fall with some sweet savings at Cross Mitsubishi. Right now, get the best rate in the country, 1.99% on select Mitsubishis. And to make things even better, get up to $1,800 in free accessories or no payments for 6 months, and Cross will take care of your first 3 payments. Plus, get a trade-in bonus for $2,000 and free winter tires on all new Mitsubishis. Find these great deals and so many more at Cross Mitsubishi, 34th Avenue and 96th Street, or cross with a K, Mitsubishi.ca.
When you hand deliver a hamper to a family in need, everyone's hearts fill with joy. Be part of the Holiday Hamper program. a charitable experience unlike anything in Edmonton. Sign up to adopt a local family. Fill a hamper with food and gifts, then bring it to their door and see the difference you're making firsthand. With the rising cost of living impacting so many families, the need has never been greater. Sign up for the Holiday Hamper program today at holidayhamper.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. They've continued developing tools and are excited to announce their newest design, battery-powered nut runners. 4 models from 500 to 3,000 foot-pounds with more on the way. Learn more at cantork.com.
Look good, feel good, play good. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for listening to Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.250, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440 live on Oilers Nation YouTube. Game day, the Oilers hosting the New York Islanders. Oilers will have a new head coach. The Islanders come in, losers of 4 in a row, 0-3-1. In that time, they've been outscored 17-8. Their all-star goaltender, Ilya Sorokin, struggling. They're basically rotating for the last 8 games. It's been Varlamov, Sorokin, Varlamov, Sorokin, Varlamov, Sorokin. Varlamov played their last game in Washington on Saturday and lost, so looks like they'll be getting Sorokin. Sounds crazy to say, but based on how they're playing recently, they might be getting the easier goalie. We'll talk to Kevin Woodley about that in a sec. But first, let's get to the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate. Of course, Cam Tate, longtime journalist in the city. Cam has cerebral palsy. He's in a wheelchair. It's tough for him at times for everybody to understand everything he's saying clearly. So through the wonders of technology, though, Tater's able to be part of the show, and he joins us every Monday and Friday.
Thanks, Big J. Fast Eddie reading Cam Tate's words today, the human element. Sports 1440. Morning man Kevin Karius asked Oilers general manager Ken Holland an extremely hard question and waited for an even more difficult answer on Sunday. Coaches are hired to be fired. Sports is a business, but every business is run by people, good people, talented people. Holland said it was extremely difficult. Manson lost his wife to cancer in the summer. Holland was in Prince Albert for the celebration of life for Mrs. Manson. Think about it now. 3 months after a profound, sad day for Manson, Holland told Manson he was out as Oilers' assistant coach. It's cruel. We can't blame Manson if he heads east to Christopher Lake, Saskatchewan. Put his feet up and reflect on life, and he may, but only for a while. The Dave Manson I know, a friendship going on 3 decades, is someone who takes every single setback and somehow rises to continue on his journey because he is a fighter. In 1992, he was hit in the throat during a fight. To this day, Manson talks in a whisper, a lasting symptom from his altercation. He has been in hockey ever since that night, and I have every reason to believe Manson will be back, maybe with his alma mater, the Prince Albert Traders, maybe in pro. Ask any person involved in minor hockey. Skates, pucks, and sticks are the tools used to teach the game. Teamwork, mental toughness, how to compete. Dealing with adversity and other life skills are learned in environments away from the rink. When someone involved in hockey steps onto the ice, already driven and highly competitive, the sport only magnifies the person. Dave Manson is such a person. It will sting for a while, but watch Manson come back. It is simply what he does. 2-minute warning with Cam Tate, Monday, Friday, Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440.
Dave, unfortunately, him and his family, they lost his wife this summer. She'd had a few-year battle with cancer. And yeah, that's just, I guess, another added wrinkle to difficulties when you make a decision like this to fire the head coach and an assistant coach. I wish Jay Woodcroft and Dave Manson all the best. And I assume you'll see them resurface, whether it's a duo or single, we'll see. Right. Dave now, he admitted when I talked to him at camp, coming to the rink was kind of the easy part. It's when you got home and, your wife wasn't there. That's when it was difficult. So I'm sure now might be even a little bit more difficult here in the coming days to him. So hopefully friends and family reach out and make sure he's doing all right. Lots of texts to get to. 833-401-1440. Greg, aren't you a little concerned about the leadership group and how they haven't learned anything from having coaches fired? Seeing Draisaitl pout on the ice isn't a good look when he's supposed to be a leader. I think it would be a bad look if McDavid and Draisaitl all of a sudden got 3 points. Don't care if it's a coach bump or not. It looks like they didn't care enough previously from it happening from McGavin. Well, I don't know if I got to go back and look at, how many points did they have, leading up to Dave Tippett being fired. Right, like Connor McDavid having no points in 3 games. It has happened 4 other times in his career. Right, the fact that it comes now when the team is struggling obviously isn't good. There's no question about that. I don't think that them suddenly playing better would be because, we got a new coach and we're happy now. Maybe it's because they're guilty, or maybe it's just the fact that eventually the odds are McDavid's going to score again. Right? He's never went 4 games in his career without scoring a point. So if he scores a point tonight, I'm not going to look at it's because they have a coach, or even if he scores 2. Right? Like McDavid would score multi-point games for fun last year and for a lot of years of his career. I do agree with you that Draisaitl, you know what? If you want to be frustrated every now and then, it's okay. But right now, it seems that the frustration is much more noticeable and it's more frequent. And you're right, as a leader, you have to limit that. You can be frustrated, you can't show it. There's 2 different things. I would never expect a player to be content with the team losing, ever. But you don't want to show that frustration outwardly all the time. If it's once in a while, I'm fine with it. Guy snaps, whatever here and there, I'm okay with it. I don't but it's when it's consistent. And lately you have seen too much of it. I think that's fair. So, you know what? That's on the player. But that's also a conversation, and it's a tough conversation that someone in the organization should have with him. That's what good organizations do. Right? It's what happens in good, healthy relationships is you have the uncomfortable conversation. Maybe you've done it with your friends. Maybe as a boss, or, somebody you do it at work. But eventually it has to happen. Otherwise, there's not going to be growth. And I don't ever expect Leon Draisaitl to be Mr. Jolly, because that's not naturally who he is, and that's okay. That's fine. You know what? He makes lots of jokes when he wants with his friends, but he's a competitive guy. Call him the grumpy German. That's kind of how it comes across, and that's okay. But it can't be as frequent as it has been lately. I think that's a very fair factor, right? Keep in mind, though, they didn't score a point, either one last game, and the Oilers won 4-1 handily. So, good sign for the team. You can't win every time. Without those guys, sometimes you have to show, hey, we can win without them, no problem. But to me, it's not so much how they play in the first game. It's what happens in 4 months. Are the Edmonton Oilers in 2 months, and can they finally get it through and have convinced that they aren't going to win consistently or at the big moments until they commit to being better defensively as a team and lowering the high-risk chances that they've tried? Whether it's a high-risk pass in your backhand deep inside the offensive zone that gets intercepted and leads to an odd man rush and a goal. Whether it's a high-risk, unnecessary pinch at the blue line in the offensive zone that leads to an odd man rush the other way. It's trying to force a pass in your defensive zone rather than make the simple play. Sometimes it's holding on to the puck at the blue line, thinking, I can get a shot through. No, I'm just going to dump it into the corner. They're not going to score from there. If I take this shot, maybe it gets stopped. Now they have an odd man rush. Those are the decisions that need to be improved by this team. And they've been there consistently for the last, 6 years. We've seen them disappear for a while, but then they resurface. So I'm not going to make a reaction over one game. If Draisaitl scores tonight, good. They need him to score. They need McDavid to score. They need Nugent Hopkins to score. What do you want him not to score tonight? You want them to score. They have a combined 2 goals in the last 10 games. Combined. So I wouldn't be looking. To me, it's if the fact they're scoring, that should be looked as a positive, because right now the Oilers' offense is non-existent. Chances created is nice. They got to build off of the Seattle game and keep scoring, and then also reduce their goals against. But I would never look at it as a negative right now if McDavid and Draisaitl score. I don't care about the optics or anything else. They need to produce. Point blank. Hey, Gregor, great article in the weekend. Nailed it on 2 simple questions. I had to check to make sure I hadn't wrote it, from Randy. It's true. Here were my questions that I thought. Like, there's 2 questions I'm going to have asked. Are the players going to commit to playing consistent, sound defensive hockey? And if they don't, is the new head coach going to hold them accountable? Those are the 2. Because I keep hearing we hold each other accountable. But you can say you do, but your actions show otherwise. Simple. Otherwise, you wouldn't keep doing the same things that cost your team games. It's a different player. It might be a different play. It might be a pass or a decision or a pinch, whatever. They're all in the same boat. So that, to me, is what I will watch for. And I won't be able to get the answers to those questions. There are no instant answer. They could play very well tonight. Awesome. They played well against Seattle. So great. You know what happens if the Oilers win tonight? That means they finally won 2 games in a row this year, which leaves only Chicago as the only team in the league. The San Jose freaking Sharks have actually won 2 games in a row this year. They've only won 2 games all year. They've still won 2 in a row. You want to get on a streak, you want to get rolling in the right direction, you need to string together some positive game and start building on it. The Oilers haven't been able to build on that all year. They beat Nashville, then they were terrible in Philly. They beat Calgary, and then they were loose as a goose against Dallas. So what will they be tonight? We'll find out. Let's get to the Con Man, a Sports 1440 update brought to you by BIE Engineering, specializing in all your residential, commercial, and industrial structural engineering needs. Go to BIEENG.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
It's game day as Chris Knoblauch makes his debut behind the Oilers bench as they take on the Islanders. That one gets going at 6:30 down at Rogers Place. The other game tonight, the Avs in Seattle taking on the Kraken. That'll get going at 8. Week 10 of the NFL wraps up tonight as the Denver Broncos take on the Buffalo Bills. That one starting at 6:15 in the association. 4 games on the schedule, including the Toronto Raptors in action, taking on the Wizards. Injury note there, OG Anunoby listed as questionable with a right finger laceration. You've also got the Celtics hosting the Knicks, the Bulls in Milwaukee, and the Kings take on the Cavaliers. The Toronto Blue Jays announcing the hiring of DeMarlo Hale as associate manager under manager John Schneider. And one game in the AJ is Spruce Grove traveling to GP to take on the Storm. That one starting at 7. Coming up in hour 2, we'll be joined by a man who's done play-by-play for 5 Boston sports teams, also an author, Dale Arnold. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
At The Brick, we're not just proud of this city and its rich sports history. We're proud partners of it. The Brick started right here in Edmonton over 50 years ago. And when we're not cheering on the Oilers and Oil Kings live at the game, or the Edmonton Elks under the bright stadium lights, we're in our stores, providing everything you need to cheer them on in your home. The Brick, supporting Edmonton sports teams and fans since 1971, saving you more.
Building or renovating, you want to work with someone who sees and understands your vision. BIE Engineering is a family-owned, experienced structural engineering consulting firm serving commercial and residential clients in Edmonton and surrounding area. Homeowner or large company, they'll work with you to help see your ideas through. BIE Engineering can help prevent problems, deliver solutions, and minimize your risk. BIE Engineering. Request a quote for your project today. Visit BIEENG.com.
What's better than getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee? Getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee for only $4 plus tax. It's your favorite McDonald's breakfast for less. What's better than that? For a limited time at participating McDonald's in Canada, prices exclude delivery.
A solid financial plan is made up of more than just investments. Investments are an important part, but you need a more comprehensive approach. Roger Weird at Weird Pearson Akel & Associates Private Wealth Management understands that. He can help build a plan that includes retirement, estate planning, personal insurance, tax strategies, and yes, investments. Talk to him today and see the difference a real financial plan makes. We're Pearson, Akel and Associates. Call 780-988-4119 or visit weirdadvisoryteam.com.
Our cars are our lifeline, and every now and then we need to take care of them too. Cochran's Automotive services your vehicle with pride. When you need to fix it up, bring the whole family fleet. Junior's WRX, Mom's MPV, Dad's 1500, or even Grandpa's old 88. All makes and models are welcome. Trust Cochran's Automotive to professionally repair your family's pride and joy. They've got you covered for Volkswagen diesel timing belts too. Call 780-452-5001.
It's simply the best time to buy. The Black Friday event is on right now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. You'll save up to a game-changing $7,500 off your purchase or finance as low as 1.49%. Choose from a winning selection of 2023 cars and SUVs like the sleek S60 or the roomy and comfortable XC60s and 90s. Black Friday is on now at Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Visit 1205 101st Street Southwest or chat online at volvocarsedmonton.com.
Your old furnace can die in the blink of an eye, so why take that chance this winter? Eric Mikowski here, head of the family at Furnace Family. The time for a new furnace is now. Not only will you have peace of mind on those cold winter nights, you will save money on those super expensive gas bills. Unsure? Furnace Family can come check your furnace, and if you buy a new one from us, the check is free. Daikin has an industry-leading lifetime warranty on their heat exchangers. It could be the last furnace you ever buy. Visit furnacefamily.com. Jingle time.
Done right, day or night, furnacefamily.com.
Drive into fall with some sweet savings at Cross Mitsubishi. Right now, get the best rate in the country, 1.99% on select Mitsubishis. And to make things even better, get up to $1,800 in free accessories or no payments for 6 months, and Cross will take care of your first 3 payments. Plus, get a trade-in bonus for $2,000 and free winter tires on all new Mitsubishis. Find these great deals and so many more at Cross Mitsubishi, 34th Avenue and 96th Street, or cross with a K, Mitsubishi.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
So you think my singing's all out of time? It makes me money. I don't know why. I don't know why anymore. Oh no. So come on, feel the noise. Girls, rock your voice. We'll get wild, wild, wild.
Just after 3 o'clock. Welcome back. Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440 live on Oilers Nation. YouTube is always presented by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. And hey, you're interested in some prop bets. Just so you know, Connor McDavid, in his history, in his NHL career, has never gone 4 games without a point. Currently, for the 5th time in his career, he's gone 3 games without a point. He will look to avoid the 4th for the first time. If well, you might not want to believe me. Obviously, recent wagers history, not great. But this is one where there's a lot of games to look at. So you've got a pretty big sample size if you believe in sample sizes. Right? Connor McDavid has played 580 NHL games, 49 playoff games. Has never gone 4 consecutive games without a point. It's a pretty big number. We shall see what happens tonight. The Oilers are hoping nothing more than McDavid would get going offensively. How about the fact that he's 130th in NHL scoring right now? Like, that is the stat, man. Like, when we talk about stats in the league, like, come on, people say, oh yeah, it's early. Yeah, it's early. But it's still 130th in the NHL. He's 6th on the Oilers because if you go by point totals, remember the goals count more. So guy like Bouchard and him each have 10 points, but Bouchard has more points. more goals. So in a scoring race, he would be ahead. So technically, McDavid's 6th on the Oilers right now. It's a bizarro world. Right? There's lots of thing. And so, you know what? Maybe just a coaching change is, because I'm sorry, I don't buy into the injury stuff. I know that it's easier to tell yourself McDavid's hurt than McDavid's struggling. Right? It's easier. So I understand why people gravitate towards, hey, I can convince myself, hey, McDavid, yeah, he's not playing great, but he's injured. Yeah, he's injured. Okay. Yeah. No, what is he struggling? No. We don't want to look at that. And I get it. I totally understand it. And I'm not saying McDavid's 100% healthy. Very few guys in the league are. But he's playing 22 minutes a night. And his injury, everybody saw him leave the ice, like a back hip kind of thing. His skating's fine. The thing that seems to be a little off with him right now is his hands, his passing. Right? He's not shooting as much as he was last year. Right? And remember, like Draisaitl played banged up on one leg and averaged 2 points a game in the playoffs. I think these guys are highly skilled players. McDavid can simply flat out play better. And McDavid's the first one to admit it. Why do you think he was out on the ice in practice on the road working with Dylan Holloway? His exact answer was, I got to work my way out of this funk. That's why he's one of the best players in the world. He doesn't look for excuses. And there's no easy fix. Even the best player in the world can have a battle with a lack of confidence at times. And that's what it looks like. Like they're just a little bit off. And that could change with all of a sudden one goal. Even an assist at this point would be good. But he's a little off. Like the Oilers' entire offense is a little bit off. He is. Look at Draisaitl. How many one-timers have we seen Draisaitl fan on here in the last week? The old adage, squeezing the stick too tight, seems to be some truth to it. Right? It's not great for your two best offensive players. Like the good news for the Oilers is, you know what? Hyman showed up in a big way. That line was very good. I thought Dylan Holloway had an excellent game. Finally got rewarded. Almost had a second goal. So they need more guys going offensively. We've talked a lot about their defense, but we probably haven't focused enough on the lack of offense in Edmonton. And I think it's worthy of discussion because you don't go from being the number one offensive team in the league and just because Kyler Yamamoto isn't re-signed and Klim Kostin left, who had 11 goals in 50-some games, and Nick Bukestad only played 20 games, because those guys are gone, that suddenly your offense goes from 1st to 26th. I don't buy it. Like, I'm sorry, you'll never sell me on that one. There's no chance. They still have a lot of skill in the roster. They're top-end guys. Not all, because if you look, Zach Hyman's production is pretty solid. Right? Like, even Leon Draisaitl, Leon Draisaitl's 30, he's not awful by his standards even, but it's still a little below, right? He's got 15 and 13 games. He only has 2 points in his last 5 games. For those guys, that's low. Right now, Hyman, he had, what did he have? 83 points last year. Well, right now he's on pace for 82. So pretty good. Nugent Hopkins, we all knew Nugent Hopkins wasn't going to be a 100-point player again. I said that at the start of the year. It wasn't going to happen. It was a great year. Awesome. But he can still be a 75 to 80-point player. Well, Kane's had a good year offensively. And McDavid's below his standards. McDavid, Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins. Bouchard's offense is good. We all know that, a little bit more consistent defensively. And then they're depth guys. Like Fogel's, his production's fine. I have no issue with his production. You just need a little bit more from some other guys. Starts coming, it'll help out a lot. Their D-men are actually scoring okay amount of goals, but not getting a ton of assists, mainly because the top-end guys aren't scoring. So it's hard for defensemen who usually have more assists than goals to get points when your offensive guys aren't scoring. That's just how it goes. So Hey, guys, my son was showing me a clip of where Holland said he talked to some of the veterans, and right after Jed said they didn't consult any players. What are your thoughts from J-Rock? J-Rock's good question. So, and I actually talked to some players about this. So here's Ken Holland said he was talking to players the past week, not about the firing. He had just talked to the players about what was, getting their thoughts, which you should as a GM. Hey, what do you think's going wrong? What's wrong with your game? What's right with your game? Those type of conversations. The players I talked to, and I didn't talk to all of them, none said any of the conversation was about the coach, which I don't think it would be. And so then Jeff Jackson followed up by saying, yeah, we didn't consult it, because he was asked directly, were players consulted with this? He's like, no. Having talked to many players in the NHL, guys who are leaders over the years and stuff, and I've reached out to a few of them who are on teams, who are captains of teams when their coach got fired. And I said, were you ever consulted, even asked about it? He goes, no, never. I've never heard of someone asking a player, hey, do you think we should fire the coach? Like, that's a terrible situation to put someone in. So, yes, what Ken Holland said was true, and what Jeff Jackson said was true. But they weren't connected, because Jeff Jackson was talking about the firing. Ken Holland was talking about him speaking with veterans about what's going wrong. Does that make any sense? I think it does. And I think it's valid. I know people are trying to say that they're not on the same page and stuff, and that's okay. But I went back and I listened to the whole thing again. And Ken Holland was talking about what was going wrong. And then Jeff Jackson was asked directly about the firing. And so I wouldn't think, and Connor McDavid today, unless all of a sudden, like, he's getting sick acting lessons, I don't believe he's lying at all. That, he woke up, because got to remember, look at the timeline. So the Oilers flew, and Ken Holland admitted that the decision was made that they were firing their coach before the Seattle game. But because of the coaching in Hartford on Saturday night, the Oilers were playing in Seattle, right? You weren't going to fire Jay Woodcroft before the game, have Golitzin be the interim coach. You just weren't going to do it. So you wait, because it kind of shows you at times, like, coaching matters, but I think sometimes we overrate how much coaching matters. The players still ultimately control the outcome of the game majority of the time. And so that, they made the decision internally that they were going to let Jay Woodcroft and Dave Manson go. Then they fly back from Seattle. They don't tell anybody. They landed at 2 a.m. on Sunday morning. Players get in their vehicles. They go home. Coach go home. The next morning, they have a meeting with the coach, and the players have the day off. So none of them are setting their alarm. They're sleeping in. Right? The news came out at what, 9:30-ish? Right? Now, you might have sent a text message to your captain prior to it going public. That I could see, saying, hey, you know what? We've made a decision to fire the head coach. Just want you to let you know. That I could see happening. Right? That would actually make sense to me. I'd probably do that as a GM. Just so, hey, I don't want you to hear from someone else. This is what's going to happen. It's going to be coming out. Okay. Right? You send out the text a few minutes before the press release. And then the players, so if you arrive at home at 2, by the time you're home in bed, it's 3. They're probably none of them are up before 10 o'clock. Right? So that's kind of how I see that one. Hey, guys, why is no one talking about Coffey taking out his least favorite Oilers coach? What are you talking about? Dave Manson was his least favorite Oilers coach? Freezer Bag, fill me in on what your what conspiracy theory are we on now? Because I'm not. So I don't get it. Hey, guys, do you not think McDavid looks slow? Despite his hands, the amount of time he's bobbling pucks and fanning on shots, he can't seem to catch guys. He isn't quick enough. Dumping in pucks versus carrying in. Very noticeable against the Sharks from Craig. I haven't really seen McDavid look slower to me. Like, I'd literally probably have to, now I know they have the data that times how fast they be, and I guess we could look at that to probably have more of an accurate one. Because if he's going 21 miles an hour, but now he's only 20, I don't feel my eye is trained accurately enough to know the difference. But they do have the data, so I could look it up and see if it's there. Maybe. Again, even if McDavid isn't 100%, that's fine. McDavid at 90% is still better than the vast majority of the league. He's 130th in scoring. Point blank. And if he's frustrated which I think at times he is. Of course he is. He's not used to being a guy who has 1 point in 5 games. Right? Like, God, I'd have to go back and probably never in junior. Definitely probably not as a kid. Like, so when you're used to it, yeah, that's tough. And I think there's a lot of pressure on he puts a lot of pressure on himself to produce. And the key is you don't want to let that pressure get to you. So. Hey, Gregor, you believe Holland and Jackson tell us 100% of the truth? No way. No, I don't believe. I never said that. Never once did I say they tell 100% of the truth. But I'm saying I believe without question that they didn't put Connor McDavid in a position to ask him, do you think we should fire the coach? It wasn't consulted on firing the coach. That I believe 100%. Because you'd be the worst leader in history if you ever did that. Number 2, Ken Holland saying he spoke to the players. I agree. Ken Holland's not going to say, hey, do you think I should fire the coach? No chance. Not doing that. Right? You get intel, you ask the players, hey, what's going on? What do you think's wrong? Maybe the player's like, geez, I don't like the system. Maybe I don't like this. I don't like playing with this guy. We need a goalie. Whatever the conversations are, I'm playing terrible. Right? I'm not going to speculate on what was said. But I never once said they tell 100% of the truth. But I also don't believe that they flat out lie. Right? I think Jeff Jackson told the truth that he didn't consult the players before the firing. And then Ken Holland told the truth that he said he spoke to veterans when he was on the road trip. You can speak to people. It doesn't mean the topic has to be about firing the coach. There's lots of other topics you could talk about. Quick break. We'll return to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, live from the eWell studio. For all your electrical needs, go to ewel.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
When basketball legend Shaquille O'Neal joined the team at Papa John's, he brought some big ideas, but his biggest idea is the Shaq-a-Roni pizza. It's a massive pizza designed to feed big appetites and make a big impact. It comes with 8 foldable Shaq-sized slices, loaded with extra cheese and extra pepperonis. But what makes it really big is that for every Shaq-a-Roni sold through December 31st, 2023, Papa John's donates $1 to Second Harvest to provide 3 healthy meals to people and agencies in need. The Shaq-a-Roni is bigger than pizza. Get yours today for only $21.99, only at Papa John's.
No project too difficult. No problem too complex for Action Electrical. Edmonton's leading electrical contractor is a family-run business since 1973 and proud to offer complete commercial electrical services of the highest quality. When you need a contractor to design, build, implement, and maintain complex systems or emergency electrical assistance, help is here with the professionals. Book a service call at actionelectrical.net today. That's actionelectrical.net.
You know, I got into reffing for the excitement.
He's going for the chair.
Turns out wrestling is completely scripted. But you know what's exciting and unscripted? PlayAlberta.ca. With an all-new sportsbook, odds boosts, and betting on any game.
PlayAlberta.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today with promo code SPORTS50 and get a $50 free bet. Official gaming partner of the Edmonton Oilers. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
No, if I lift this up and then hit it right here.
No, it's hit, then lift.
What
are you guys doing?
We can't get this thing to work.
For guaranteed same-day service, call Franco Sorgiovanni at Corporate Business Solutions before someone makes it even worse. Most issues can be resolved within 20 minutes or less. Corporate Business Solutions is an authorized Konica Minolta office equipment dealer for sales and service. Call CBS today at 780-490-5600 or visit cbsca.com.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
What does 3 decades of perfecting your craft look like? Ask the guys at Leduc Goldsmiths, locally run and bringing you nothing but quality work and service. Built from the ground up through family, from generation to generation, uncle to nephew, father to son. The pride in their family jewelry store is the pride you take home, bringing you custom and repair work. But it's their face-to-face service that keeps you coming back. Leduc Goldsmiths on Main Street, Leduc. Leduc's jewelry store, family owned and operated for over 30 years.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Roger Weir and his team at Weir, Pearson, Akel & Associates Private Wealth Management, helping business owners and professionals build, protect, and enjoy their wealth. Earn more now and call Roger and his team at 988-4119.
He's not just another pair of glasses. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for checking out Edmonton Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Three 25. I do want to get to this text. Hey, Greg's, I don't think Oil Country can handle the truth, whatever it is, from Luke. Luke, you might be onto something there, man. Yes, some people, hey, sometimes you want to know the truth, but then you prefer not to know the truth, shall we say. Let's get to our big guest of the day today, brought to you by Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment. They are, of course, only Seattle Thunderbirds, Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides, and much, much more. Very unique, locally owned company. And you know what? They built a new hockey rink. It's going to provide lots more ice time for kids. It's fantastic. So check it out at Silent Ice. And our guest today is an author of a new book called Tough Guys. Very excited to read this book, and very excited to have Dale Arnold on the show. Dale, how you doing?
Jason, how are you? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine, my man.
Okay, good. All right. We're all good. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm excellent. I like the backdrop. The Bruins 23, but Tough Guys. This is it's the Tough Guys in hockey is always unique because most people, it's just a fascinating connection, because most people, it's something they're like, I never really want to do it. Like, I like watching it, but I don't really want to be a part of it, right? Like, there's some of the most beloved characters in the history of the game.
I started my broadcasting career in 1979 with the American Hockey League franchise of the Philadelphia Flyers, the Maine Mariners. Yeah. And the Maine Mariners were just like the Philadelphia Flyers in 1979, with guys like Jim Cunningham and you can go down the list. Dave Hoyda and Glenn Cochran, and then as the years went on, you added guys like Darryl Stanley and Dave Brown and Archie Henderson and Mel Hewitt. My career was built around broadcasting games that involved tough guys. I came to really appreciate them, what they did for a living and how they did it. But I also, and you've probably known this yourself, Jason, you've been around these guys. They're among the most humble, down-to-earth people you've ever dealt with, the tough guys in the NHL. And I wanted them to be able to tell their stories, and that was the genesis for this book.
And obviously, you have a long-time connection. You used to be the voice of the Bruins. You're one of the few guys to have called do play-by-play for all 5 of the major sports professional franchises in the Boston area. So you definitely have a connection to it. But this book, when you sat down to write about it, kind of give me your thoughts on where the idea came from and how many hours spent in doing all the research for it.
This was over a year, start to finish, almost a year and a half. What I wanted to do was get involved with each of these guys, give them each their own chapter, let them tell their own story. Most of them are guys that I've known through the course of my career, from Terry O'Reilly to Dave Brown to Archie Henderson to PJ Stock to Milan Lucic, and going on and on and on. I actually got near the end of the process. I said, you know what? I want to write about a guy that I don't know. And frankly, I don't like, just based on watching him, and watching what he does for a living. And I got in touch with Matthew Barnaby. Son of a gun, I ended up liking the guy. I mean, he was like all the other tough guys I ever dealt with, and they're funny, they're down to earth, they're fun to talk to. And I gave each guy their own chapter and let them tell their own stories.
Yeah, no, it is interesting. So you get them to tell the stories. And I met Matthew many times at charitable events. He is a character. Kind of what you saw on the ice with Barnaby, right? Uncontrolled at times. That was pretty much how he is off the ice, for sure, Dale. So he was one guy you interviewed that you didn't really, that you necessarily didn't like going in. I could see why, because
and I didn't know him. I didn't know him. I freely admit I didn't like him, but I didn't know him until we started this process.
Yeah, and it's funny. Oiler fans, they used to hate Steve Ott till he became a regular guest on our show, and then they're like, "God, I really like him. He's funny, he's witty, and he had great stories." And I can see the same for Barnaby. There's lots of other guys in the book. Of course, you went after some guys with some cool nicknames. Of course, the Grim Reaper in Stu Grimson. Who was a story that maybe surprised you that you thought you knew, but then as you talk to him, you're like, "Wow, there's more to this."
The last chapter of the book is probably the one that affected me the most. And it's a guy whose NHL career lasted 3 games. That was it. Bobby Robbins was well known if you followed minor league hockey and European hockey. He got the opportunity to be the oldest player, the oldest rookie to make an NHL opening day roster when he got a job with the Boston Bruins a few years ago. And he was 32 years old. He got in a fight in his first game, got rocked, got a fight in his second game, got rocked, knew he was in tough shape, but knew that he was finally fulfilling his dream and kept doing what he did to get there and got rocked. And ultimately his career came to an end. He was the most honest of all of the people I've dealt with, and all of these guys are honest. All of them will tell you the truth. And I don't want to give too much of the book away, but when he actually said to me at one point, I was sitting in my car with the gun in my hand and thinking maybe this was time to end things. And I thought, holy crap. And I actually said to him at the end of the process, I said, Bobby, are you sure you want me to write this? And he said, Dale, it's the truth. Write it. And I did.
Dale Arnold joins us. The book is Tough Guys. Of course, it's available now in stores, wherever, online, wherever you want to get the book. It's called Tough Guys. So overall, how each chapter is a different player, correct?
Yep.
And so how many total?
There are 13 guys. Now, a couple of guys, John Shannon's not a tough guy, okay?
Sure.
But what I want, what I wanted,
at, but no, I'm kidding.
Well, no, that's harsh. What I wanted was to hear what the TV side of covering these guys was about.
Okay.
How did you guys cover bench clearing brawls? And he tells great stories in there about, they had code words. When a bench clearing brawl broke out, they'd say whatever it was, cinnamon, whatever the hell the word was. And guys would know, okay, I'm going to this guy, I'm going to that guy, I've got this bench, I've got that bench. And I really wanted to talk to him. Brian Burke was a tough guy, but what I wanted to talk to him about was building a team around tough guys, as he did in Anaheim, that won a cup, because he felt his team wasn't, to use his phrase, not mine, truculent enough. Mm-hmm. He needed more of that stuff. And then the other guys were guys who were the tough guys, from Terry O'Reilly to Jay Miller to, and I've mentioned several of the other ones, Dave Brown and Archie Henderson. I wanted them to tell me their stories. I opened the first chapter with Terry O'Reilly, and I just tell this very quick story where he calls me back and he apologizes for being late in returning my call. And he said, I'm sorry I'm late. I was out skating. Now, he's 71 now. At the time, he was 70. I know he's had both knees rebuilt and hips and everything else. And I couldn't help but ask, why? And he said, I wanted to see if I still liked it. And I said, did you? And he said, maybe you better ask me tomorrow, and started laughing. But that's the kind of honesty and fun that it is when you talk to these guys. Archie Henderson, who the folks in Calgary know well, and up in that part of Alberta. I mean, you talk to Archie, it's like you're getting a lesson of life lecture. He's trying to buck you up and get you ready to go on in life. And he's such a fun guy to talk to. And all of these guys were. PJ Stock, who, as I said in the book, his body constantly wrote checks that his body wrote checks that his heart couldn't cash. And, he got the crap kicked out of him. Yeah. He knew that he would take 7 shots to land 2. but he was willing to do that. And he did on a regular basis. And it was just so much fun for me to talk to and to get his stories as well.
So you went with guys from lots of different generations for sure.
Yep.
And, you know, like today, like Milan Lucic, of course, is still in the league. The league has definitely changed a lot, even from when he was a rookie, and, you know, how often you have to fight and different things like that. And so, you know, I think fighting is always going to be part of the game. It's just going to be significantly lower part of the game. We just see that. And it's evolved over time naturally. I was always much more of a fan if they decided, Dale, that the players just decided themselves we're not going to fight as much, rather than trying to force it out of the game, because it's still there and it can still be a deterrent for some players for sure. Was there anybody that you wanted to talk to that you didn't get to for the book?
You know, there were guys that I was interested in talking to and I just didn't have connections with. And, you know, then it becomes a question of, you know, how long is this book going to be? And it was 280 pages as it was. There were certainly some guys that, you know, who this was not the 10 toughest guys or 13 toughest guys in the history of the NHL. That wasn't the purpose of this, because I can come up with a whole bunch of other names on the list who would, you know, be pretty tough as well. You mentioned Stu Grimson, and you think about a guy like Dave Semenko and Marty McSorley to help Edmonton Oilers fans out. You know, they were as tough as they come, and guys like that. But, you know, there was a limit to who I could connect with, who I knew, who I had connections to, and who I could get in touch with. And if I wrote volume 2, trust me, there'd be a bunch more guys, John Scott or whoever it might be, you know, Tiger Williams, you know, guys who certainly fit the role of tough guy, but who I didn't necessarily talk to for this book.
It's interesting, Dale. You, of course, you reside and you did all your broadcasting in the Boston area, and the Bruins, for the longest time, their organization was kind of synonymous, you know, with like, They had a tough organization, right? In different generations at different times. And those players like Sean Thornton, you know, it's funny. People outside of Boston, some of them mocked him. They're like, oh, Sean Thornton wasn't important to that team. Yet all the players on the team talked about how important Sean Thornton was. And I see you got his book there. And I read his book, and it was fantastic.
I co-wrote the book with Sean, actually.
Yeah.
And I, you know, it was along the lines of the respect I have for these guys and for these people and how they go about making a living. Every single guy I talked to, both in Sean's book with him and the guys in Tough Guys, every single guy said, I knew what I was signing up for. I don't regret a minute of it. I would do it again if I had the opportunity. But they also all kind of indicate that they're a little bit concerned about what they did to themselves long term. When I talked to Chris Nyland for this book, I said, if you could take a test that would tell you if you had CTE today, would you take it? Because the only way you can test for CTE now is after you're dead. And he hesitated for a minute and he said, no, I wouldn't do it because there's nothing they can do to cure it. I can't fix it. And I would live the rest of my life wondering, you know, when the final shoe was going to drop. And he said, I wouldn't do it. Now, I've noticed in the last couple of weeks, Nux has come out and said he's going to donate his brain to the study of this and what it's done. All of these guys know that they have paid a price for how they made a living. Now, universally, every one of them said, I'd do it again. I'd do it again tomorrow. Even a guy like Bobby Robbins, whose NHL career lasted 3 games, said, I'd do it again tomorrow if I could.
Yeah, and I understand. It's kind of what you know. It's what you're comfortable in, and you be honest with yourself and you sign up for it. And there's lots of guys who fought who don't seem to have any issues, right?
Yeah.
You know, Strudia, who's my co-host for years on this show, had over 100 fights, and he's like, you know what? Knock on wood. Luckily, I've never really had an issue, and so it kind of varies sometimes. You know, we see people that in other sports that don't have fighting that have CTE because of contact and different things. So, you know what? Who knows if there's ever going to cure it? Just a game of hockey. You could take a lot of hellacious hard hits, which are clean and allowed, and then still have issues.
Sean Thornton's a guy who, you know, as he would say, knock wood. You know, doesn't seem to be suffering any long-term effects at all. In fact, he's the chief revenue officer for the Florida Panthers. He didn't go into the hockey end of the business. He went into the business end of the business and is doing exceptionally well in Florida with it. Extremely intelligent, very bright, and doesn't have any long-term effects. Other guys freely admit that, you know, as PJ Stock said to me one time, he said, sometimes I wonder if I can't remember things because I took many shots to the head, or can I not remember things just because I'm getting old? And sometimes he asks his wife that question when they get up in the morning.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Now, in Boston folklore, Dale, who would be the toughest Boston Bruin of all
Terry
time?
O'Reilly. And it's not even a question. And he's chapter number 1 in this book. And, the first guy that I had to talk to when I was going to write this. Now, there's a list of very tough guys in Boston Bruins history. Jay Miller is in this book. Chris Nyland, probably better known for his Montreal years, but played for the Bruins. He's in this book. PJ Stock is in this book. But if you said to me today, pick the guy who's the toughest Bruin who ever played the game, I think I would say, and if you asked most of the players, they would say it was Terry O'Reilly.
Even tougher than Big Z?
Well, Z is a different category in some respects. It's funny you should say that because when I wrote my first book, I was talking to Andrew Ferentz about Zdeno Chara. And he told me the story. He said, one time we're playing in Ottawa, and there's this guy for the Ottawa Senators, and I don't remember who it was. And he's on top of Z. Z is laying flat on his back on the ice. And this guy's trying to, survive. And he said, Dale, I saw Z take his fist like this, and he moved it 6 inches this far and knocked the guy out. He said Zdeno Chara could legitimately kill somebody if he wasn't careful when he was playing in the game. And he legitimately could. Now, like all the other guys who are in this book, as nice a guy as you've ever met, as gentle a soul as you've ever talked to, but at 6'9" with like a 0% body fat, he's run 6 marathons in the last 5 months.
Yeah, it's great.
His first marathon was Boston in April, and he said, you know what? I kind of like this. I think I'll run some more. He's run 6 of them, for God's sakes. He is built that way and that kind of athlete. But he's a guy who, almost a separate category, but you're not wrong, Jason, that he'd have to be on that list as well.
Yeah, he's just so big and strong. Like when you're 6'9", it is a different category that he'd have to be in the true heavyweight. Like Terry O'Reilly, Terry O'Reilly was a big man, but compared to lots of heavyweight guys, like, the 90 heavyweights, when you have Dave Brown and Boogaard, and then you get into those like guys were 6'6", 250, and like they trained. It was just a different time, right? Like Bob Probert's obviously would be one. Dave Brown, Terry O'Reilly was tough. What about Wensick though? Like, where would you rank Wensick and Stan Jonathan?
They're in my top 5 because I don't want to get the crap kicked out of me when I see them next. And you go back through Bruins history. They were the big bad Bruins. Now, Harry Sinden will tell you, they didn't call themselves the Big Bad Bruins. The Philadelphia Flyers named them the Big Bad Bruins, interestingly enough, because the Flyers were the Broad Street Bullies.
Yeah.
But, you go back through Wensink and, as you mentioned, Stan Jonathan. And, Wayne Cashman was as tough as you'd want to deal with. You go back in the day. And I've mentioned the other guys who were in this book as well. The Bruins built their reputation around that kind of player. The Flyers certainly built their reputation around that kind of player as well. And because my career started in the Flyers organization, I developed such a respect for who they were as people and what they sacrificed to do their job and how hard it was. What's the old country western song? It's a hard way to make a good living. Well, it is a real hard way to make a good living, to do what they do for a living.
Yeah, 100%. Dale, I look forward to it. I have a copy of it. I have read the first few chapters. I haven't got through all of it, so I'm looking forward to finishing it. I really enjoyed Sean's book, so it was fantastic. So congrats on that. And once again, the book is called Tough Guys by Dale Arnold. You can get it Amazon. You can get it in chapters. You can get it wherever you want to get your books. Perfect time for that hockey lover in your family for upcoming at Christmas time if you like books. So
tell Terry Ryan I'm a huge Shoresy fan too, by the way, when you talk.
Hey, you know what? He's filming. He's on location right now today. So he's normally he'd be co-hosting with me right now. And TR was definitely a gamer guy. He was probably fought out of his weight class more than he should have in his own words. But definitely was a gamer for sure. But yeah, he's going to hopefully join us here in the next hour for a segment. But he's on. I will tell him, and he's quite excited about Hitch's character development in season number 4.
Give him my best because I love the show.
Awesome. Thanks, Dale. Appreciate your time.
Jason, thank you. I appreciate it.
That is Dale Arnold, a longtime radio host. Of course, did all the 5 major sports in Boston. One of the only guys to do all 5 is play-by-play. And now has written the book called Tough Guys. I've read the first few chapters. Trust me. I love these type of books. Like, it's very deep. You get a sense, you get to know the player more. And I like any book like that where, we kind of know the headlines of players, but you don't really know the people behind it. And I really like Sean Thornton's book because of that he wrote with Dale. And so now this one with Dale, I'm looking forward to finishing it. We'll take a quick break. Hopefully we'll get to Ryan's rant. We got to Annie Petrillo. We'll also hear from Spec and more on the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440 Live and Owners Nation YouTube.
What's better than getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee? Getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee for only $4 plus tax. It's your favorite McDonald's breakfast for less. What's better than that? For a limited time at participating McDonald's in Canada, prices exclude delivery.
Action Electrical is expanding throughout Alberta. With the recent acquisition of Big Hill Electrical Services in Cochrane, Action Electrical is the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta. What does this mean for Action Electrical and Big Hill Electrical Services? It means that they are able to support their clientele all over Alberta with the same high level of professionalism and integrity. From conception to completion and beyond, throughout Alberta, contact
the professionals
at actionelectrical.net today. That's actionelectrical.net.
Rodeo clowning felt like an exciting opportunity. Boy, was I ever wrong. The bulls. So predictable. But you know what's exciting and unpredictable? PlayAlberta.ca. I can bet on any sports game, play online casino games anytime, and buy lottery tickets anywhere.
PlayAlberta.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today and get over $100 in welcome bonuses. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Looking to tackle your backyard projects with power and precision this fall? Look no further than Kubota compact tractors. Experience the perfect blend of compact size and unbeatable value with Kubota. Right now, take advantage of financing as low as 0% for up to 84 months and save up to $1,500 on select models. Plus, as the temperature drops, get ready for Alberta winters with confidence with Kubota Performance Match snowblowers, sweeper, and blades. Visit Edmonton Kubota today for details.
Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. Your love for the game and Papa John's passion for better ingredients, better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. That's SPORTS20.
Your furnace is dead. It's time to replace it before winter crushes you. Legacy Heating and Cooling is practically there already.
Yeah, we're working in your basement, doing a replacement. The work is so earnestly building your legacy.
With no payments and no interest for 1 year, you gotta call Legacy. Replacing your dying furnace before it's too late, that's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Hi, Dennis from Weiss Johnson. Are you one of those people out there looking for something different to heat and cool your home? Weiss Johnson is Edmonton's cold climate heat pump specialist and would love to explain to you how Trane heat pumps are a reliable, cost-effective alternative for your home's heating and cooling needs. Order your Trane heat pump now and take advantage of the generous government rebates that are available. Trane, it's hard to stop with Trane. Call the most experienced HVAC company around with over 45 years in business. Visit wjcools.com today.
Denim Ford's roots run deep in the history of Central Alberta. Like always, you can experience the same honest pricing and honest service that you've come to expect from all of us at Denim Ford for the past 65 years. Denim Ford is proud to be Canada's only 50-time President Award-winning dealership in customer satisfaction, treating every customer like family. Visit Denim Ford on the world-famous Wetaskiwin Auto Mile or from home at denimford.ca.
Ours cost less than Wetaskiwin.
Are you getting a share of the profits from your bank? Each year, Vision Credit Union returns about 75% of our credit union profits to our members through profit shares and cash dividends. Last year, our profit share payout was $14.25 million. That's a big cash infusion for our members and for rural Alberta communities. It's time you got your share of the profits. Find out how at whatsyourshare.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by EUL. From LED lighting audits and retrofits to design, build, distribution systems, EUL services can give you the edge you need to impress your clients. EWEL.ca.
He's Alberta's sports authority and lead touchdown winner of his family's backyard flag football games. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Saturday night I was downtown, working for the FBI, sitting in an ass of Batman, whiskey bottles piling high. Two-legged booze all on the west side, full of people who are doing wrong. It's about a call of the DA man when I heard this woman sing a song.
We continue on Monday afternoon. Game day. By the way, early start tonight. 6:42 will be the puck drop tonight. All right. So keep that in mind. A little bit earlier for you tonight. You can tune in. Right. Just stay it on with us because the Oilers Nation YouTube can switch right over to their pregame show right after the conclusion of our show. So that'll be good. Lots of text flying in. 833-401-1440 in our Jiffy Lube inbox. Be wise. Winterize today. Book your oil change at jiffylubeservice.ca. Hey, guys, I wonder if the players are thinking too much about the game. They're out of form, not injured. Well, I don't know if they're thinking too much about the game, but when you're in a funk, that's what happens. Right? Like, so, because a lot of people are texting, well, look at McDavid. He's a shadow himself. He's clearly injured. Well, no one says that Draisaitl's injured. What about him? What about Nugent Hopkins? Right? Like, if it's possible for those, and I probably shouldn't even mention Nugent Hopkins. I don't think he's in the offensive category. But Leon Draisaitl, this guy entering the season had the most goals in the NHL the last 5 years. And he is missing on one-timers that used to score for fun. So if he's doing it, why can't McDavid? Why does McDavid have to be injured when he's struggling, but Draisaitl is just struggling? Right? I'm not saying McDavid's 100%, but he's not 50%. He's not 80%. If he was that banged up, why would he be taking extra time in battle drills? Not stick handling drills, battle drills after practice. Just ask yourself that. Why would he be doing that? Why would they allow him to do that? So, banged up, sure. Injured, I think that's a little bit of a stretch. McDavid keeps saying, he goes, hey, you know what? Yeah, I'm not 100%, but it's not an excuse. He's still playing the most minutes of any forward in the NHL. And so I guess if he is banged up and the organization keeps playing him that much, then they deserve to lose because that's terrible. And I don't think that's the case. Right? Lots of guys play banged up. There's a difference between banged up and injured. So, see. Hey, Greg's, it's time to leave the negativity the Oilers behind for the week. It's Grey Cup week, and I'm pumped. Hope to see you in Hamilton. From Daryl. Daryl dresses up as the Grey Cup every year. Like, I'm no joke. Like, he paints his face gray, Connor, everything. It's unbelievable dedication to the cause. I've seen him at the Spirit of Edmonton numerous times and around town. It's loads of fun. So, Daryl, have a great time in Hamilton, man. It's I love Grey Cup week. It's so fun. My team that I coach is in a hockey tournament this weekend. So, I was unable to go. But still, like the Grey Cup, I always tell this to everybody. Like when it was in Edmonton the last time, in my neighborhood, there was 5 couples, and none of them had ever even been to the Spirit of Edmonton. They'd never been to the Grey Cup. And I was like, pardon? So I made sure I said, no. We're going to go like all out to festivities. We went to the Spirit of Edmonton room, right, for breakfast. and spent the whole day just doing different Grey Cup things. And they were just like, and then like, Wise, like, are you kidding me? This is unreal. So, we got one planned. Hopefully we're going to be going again next year, because I'll tell you, if you've never been, like, the Grey Cup game is one thing, but the Spirit of Edmonton room, right? You want to go to Touchdown Saskatchewan, go to all the other rooms. It's amazing. Everybody's so friendly. I love it. And Hamilton should they'll put on a great show, right? Obviously, they're not in it. Very rarely is the host team in it. You don't have to be in it to have fun. Like, Montreal fans will travel pretty well there. The Bomber fans are going to travel well. So I'm thinking it should be pretty good. Cons, have you ever been to the Spirit of Edmonton room outside of Edmonton?
Not outside of Edmonton.
No,
I think I actually have a picture with Daryl as well on one of my older phones from the last Grey Cup here in town. But it was a good time. It is a lot of fun. And like you said, you can just go around and do those sorts of things. But yeah, out of town Grey Cup, definitely on the bucket list at some point here.
You have to. I've been in BC, Calgary, Regina, Toronto. I think the only one I haven't been to is Hamilton, because I was in Ottawa too. Montreal. That was my first Grey Cup. It was unreal. I think the only city I haven't been to for a Grey Cup is Hamilton. So I would like to go. But it's a great time, man. And you know what? Maybe the Elks at some point in the future, they'll have a chance where you think they can get back to it. We haven't talked a lot about the Elks. Once the season's over in the CFL, because that's when the decisions are going to be made. I'm very curious to see what decisions are the Elks going to make, baby. What decision? So, hey, Greg's, the boys just wanted to see you grow hair. Watch them go on a heater from $1.75. God. That would be a good prank, though, if I could believe it. But losing to San Jose, no, that was bottom of the barrel for more reasons than me having to grow hair. But although that's pretty bottom for me, I'll tell you that right now.
If they get on a heater, are you fully expecting the chirps to come from them when you walk in the room? Because they are the cause of this. This is their doing.
I don't see, like, what chirp they say we lost on purpose. See, and they can't, because it basically got your coach fired.
Mostly just about the look you'll have going on.
Yeah, well, I'll be wearing a toque, dude.
Okay, you're good then.
Right? There'll be a toque, and there'll be very few toqueless and hatless days. This is like the last week, because it's the first few days. It's like I've gone 6 days before I shave my head. That's not a big deal. But basically, after Wednesday, that'll be the longest in, I don't know, 20 some years that I haven't shaved my head. Like, it'll be the worst. Just even thought of it makes me want to gag. So,
but it will be cool. So you'll have the toque excuse, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Good thing it's not the summer.
Well, I wear toques a lot, so that's all right. Yeah. Hey guys, I remember a few years ago, Ovechkin was in his prime. Went a while without goals. Everyone started asking him, and all of a sudden he popped in. Then he came in the room and said no comment. Walked away with a smile. Where's that attitude from the older stars? Well, everybody has a different personality, right? Ovi is a little bit more of a fun-loving guy. You can't ask someone to be funny and witty because some other superstar is funny and witty. It's not how it works. Ask any parent. You can have 2 or 3 children, and one of them's quiet and the other one's loud. You can't ask the loud one to suddenly be quiet. You can't ask the quiet one to suddenly be loud. It's kind of who they are, right? Like, McDavid, I don't think is ever going to have Ovechkin's personality, and that's fine, right? I think that he's just naturally a bit more reserved than Ovechkin is. Not better, not worse, just different. So, but yeah, Ovi was never afraid to say things, and neither is McDavid. He's just not. You're not going to get McDavid to be up there and having a lot of laughs and jokes very often, right? Now, maybe if he wins, that would change it. But Ovi was fairly jovial beforehand. I did notice after he won, there was some release there for sure. And I think McDavid probably feels the same way. No question. I think you can exhale a little bit more. But hey, Jonathan Toews won lots. And what was his nickname? Captain Serious. So you gotta are who you are. You can't ask people to change their personalities just because they're in the public eye. I don't think that's ever going to work. Hey, Gregor, what do you think of the line changes, and how long do you think they last? From Frank. Well, I'm only going to base it on what Chris Knoblauch said yesterday. He talked a lot about not even talking lines, just said the one thing in his experience he finds players like consistency. So that's consistency as a coach in your messaging, right? Consistency in what your expectations are, and probably consistency in who your line mates are. Now, that can't be guaranteed, right? As he himself said, McDavid and Draisaitl, you know what? If we get a lot of power plays, they're going to play together. You know what? Shifts together maybe in the last minute of a game. Maybe if they're playing great, they might get more minutes. So that's going to happen. But he did say he feels they're better as a team on separate lines. And I would agree. I think most would. You can have a mismatch. If the other team's one line matches up well, then the other guy should have a better matchup. There's very few teams that you can look and say, okay, we can match up with them. There's a few, but not many. So I think it would be foolish for the head coach to come in. Now, Sam Gagner is going to start on the line with McDavid, but I think he's kind of a placeholder for Connor Brown, who skated today. And I think Connor Brown is likely, if he doesn't return Wednesday, he's definitely returning Saturday in Tampa Bay, but I think you might see him on Wednesday. So he went through the paces after practice and looked quite good. So, we'll see where he's at on that one. But obviously, think about it. They play Wednesday, then they don't play again until Saturday. That's an extra, 3 days. So they might just be cautious, and maybe he's not there until Saturday. But I don't see Sam Gagner being long-term on the top six. I just don't see that. So that's the one change. I think we'll see. Annie Petrillo will join us when we return. Also, we got the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Stop in right now. The Road Ready sale event is on, as you can get select tires up to $225 off. Also, a bonus $50 off when you book any service. Book yours today up until December 16th at fountaintire.com. Some restrictions apply.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Chris Knoblauch will make his debut behind the Oilers bench as head coach, and they take on the Islanders down at the Ice District. Puck drop just after 6:30. Just one other game on the ice tonight. The Avs in Seattle taking on the Kraken. Week 10 in the NFL will wrap up as the Bills host the Broncos. Kickoff 6:15 in that one. In the association, the Raptors back in action, hosting the Wizards. Tip off at 5:30. Also, Knicks in Boston to take on the Celtics. The Bucks host the Bulls, and the Cavs travel to Sacramento to take on the Kings. That one gets going at 8 o'clock. The Toronto Blue Jays announced the hiring of DeMarlo Hale as the associate manager under manager John Schneider. In just one game in the AJ tonight, Spruce Grove traveling to GP, taking on the Storm. That one starting at 7. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Andi Petrillo of CBC Sports and One Soccer, as well as New York Islanders radio analyst Butch Goring. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Thinking about solar power? Action Electrical wants to eliminate your entire home or business power bill and keep more cash in your pocket. With effective paybacks in 5 to 9 years, give solar a chance with Action and put your lazy roof to work. Alberta is the second highest province for the amount of full sunlight hours, and with system life exceeding 25 years, solar power is like a McDavid draft pick. Still have questions about solar power? Contact the professionals at actionelectrical.net today. That's actionelectrical.net.
This is a commercial for Corporate Business Solutions. Corporate Business Solutions, aka CBS. That's also known as CBS. As I was saying, Corporate Business Solutions empowers any business to become more efficient and profitable with office machine technology that really works. That's why they're the #1 Konica Minolta authorized dealer in all of Western Canada. Well, why don't you just read the next line? Sure. Corporate Business Solutions. Local service, local support, local always. Visit cbsca.com.
Your furnace is broken. Legacy Heating and Cooling will give it a good talking to and make it smarten its act up right now.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If your furnace is disobedient and refuses to heat.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you just want some peace of mind this winter.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Plus, Legacy never charges overtime rates. Always call Legacy Heating and Cooling.
A solid financial plan is made up of more than just investments. Investments are an important part, but you need a more comprehensive approach. Andy Akel at Weird Pearson Akel & Associates Private Wealth Management understands that. He can help build a plan that includes retirement, estate planning, personal insurance, tax strategies, and yes, investments. Talk to him today and see the difference a real financial plan makes. Weird Pearson Akel & Associates. Call 780-988-4119 or visit weirdadvisoryteam.com.
When basketball legend Shaquille O'Neal joined the team at Papa John's, he brought some big ideas, but his biggest idea is the Shaq-a-Roni pizza. It's a massive pizza designed to feed big appetites and make a big impact. It comes with 8 foldable Shaq-sized slices, loaded with extra cheese and extra pepperonis. But what makes it really big is that for every Shaq-a-Roni sold through December 31st, 2023, Papa John's donates $1 to Second Harvest to provide 3 healthy meals to people and agencies in need. The Shaq-a-Roni is bigger than pizza. Get yours today for only $21.99, only at Papa John's.
Winter weather is hard on your vehicle. Help keep it in top shape with Pennzoil Ultra Motor Oil from Jiffy Lube. Oil changes on your schedule and 25 bonus air miles with your Shell Go Plus app. Jiffy Lube, keeping you moving.
Being on this road together means saving twice during the Fountain Tire Road Ready sales event. Save up to $225 on a set of 4 select tires. Plus, get a bonus $50 off any service until December 16th. Book your appointment at fountaintire.com. Restrictions apply. Financing available. Ugh, fine print.
Does anyone buy an RV in the fall? I mean, why would you go to all the trouble to find just the right one when you can't enjoy it until the spring? Only someone like Rick Showers from Noble RV would know the answer. Ain't that right, Rick?
That's right, Bob. You'd be surprised how many people buy their RV from us in the fall. It's a buyer's market. The people who sell their RVs with us are often a little more motivated to sell this time of year. And that means a better deal for you. And when you buy your quality used RV from No Bull now, I cover the cost of storage and winterization for the coming winter. So you can pick it up in the spring, ready to roll, without paying an extra cent.
Winterization and storage? That can cost quite a bit, Rick.
Not when you come to No Bull. Our inventory is constantly changing. Something we have today, we might not have in the spring. So the best time to find the RV that's right for you is anytime.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
When you hand deliver a hamper to a family in need, everyone's heart fills with joy. Be part of the Holiday Hamper Program, a charitable experience unlike anything in Edmonton. Sign up to adopt a local family, fill a hamper with food and gifts, then bring it to their door and see the difference you're making firsthand. With the rising cost of living impacting so many families, the need has never been greater. Sign up for the Holiday Hamper Program today at holidayhamper.ca.
Are you winter ready? Don't put off those repairs or maintenance to your trucks or trailers while the cold weather sets in. Call Murray's Truck Parts Locators. Get your trucks in now to make sure you don't end up stranded. From alignments to inspections and engine overhauls, Murray does it all. He can even source parts when you need them and cut down on wait times.
Call Murray's Truck Parts, 780-678-2128.
Murray's Truck Parts Locators, just minutes west of Camrose.
And with the local DBC news.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. Professional athletes use aquatic therapy, radial shockwave, zero-gravity treadmills, and pneumatic recovery devices for rehab. Leading Edge Physiotherapy offers those to you because sports shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
He's Alberta's sports authority and lead touchdown winner of his family's backyard flag football games. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 4 o'clock on Sports 1440. Welcome back. It is the Jason Gregor Show. Also live on Oilers Nation YouTube, is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website. If you haven't tried it, stop in. You use the promo code SPORTS50 and you'll get a free play at PlayAlberta.ca. The Edmonton Oilers, of course, are hosting the New York Islanders. Oilers have won 1 in a row. They will look for their first winning streak of the season tonight. Every team in the league except Edmonton and Chicago have won at least 2 games in a row at one point this season. Oilers win tonight, then they play Seattle, a team they've had lots of success with. Again, on Wednesday. And maybe they can start turning things around and get within spitting distance of a wildcard spot. We shall see. Meanwhile, let's get to the footy report now, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter. LegacyHeating.ca and helping your neighbor coming up later on this hour as Annie Petrillo joins us once again from One Soccer and CBC Sports. Andy, how you doing? How was your weekend?
It was great. I actually had a weekend off, so I relaxed. I watched the Oilers win. I watched the Leafs win. Oh. It was a good weekend for me, my friend. Oh, did I hit a nerve with the Leafs winning?
Well, no. Hey, I got a family member playing there, so I don't mind when they win, especially when it's the first star. So I'll take that. So that was nice.
There you go.
Interesting in the footy world. Let's start with the big one because, of course, it involves Edmontonian Alphonso Davies. All right, Real Madrid's got interest here. What do you think's going to happen? I've been hearing these rumblings, and we know in soccer the big name guys move sometime. What do you make of this? And would it be a good move for Alphonso?
Well, you're right. Whenever you hear about rumors, especially in the soccer world, you're always a little hesitant because oftentimes those are rumors that are just completely fabricated by the agent. They're always trying to get, this is par for the course in the world of footy. Agents usually put out all kinds of things, or like little caterpillar legs, and they generate interest for their client. And more likely than not, it's just so their current team can give them a better contract. I fully believe, though, that these Real Madrid rumors are not, strictly coming from Alphonso's agent. This is coming from Real Madrid. They've said so themselves. This is getting very real. Alphonso has always said that it would, be a dream to play at Real Madrid. Bayern says they want to keep him. So this is all very real. This is all very possible. There is a window in the summer, and I believe he is under contract with Bayern until 2025. They have said as much. Their intent is to sign him. But when Alphonso Davies' agent is not necessarily racing to pick up the phone when Bayern calls, it kind of gives you the sense that they really want to see what can happen with Real Madrid. And if I'm the player, I'd want to go to La Liga. It's no disrespect to Bundesliga. He plays for the best team. This is a player who's won the league title because of playing for Bayern Munich. It's because he's played for Bayern Munich as well that they put together incredible run and won Champions League. But I think if you were to talk to a lot of people in the whole rankings of leagues, a lot of people put, the English Premier League first. And then usually La Liga, the Spanish league, is right there second. So, of course, I think it would be a huge boost for him. And I think a lot of people would like to see it. It would be historical. Let's just put it this way. I don't know. Again, I think I alluded to it last week. But if you watch that David Beckham documentary, like when he made the move, he even said it's a whole other stratosphere. You are on another planet when you go to Spain to play football. And it would just be, I wouldn't even know how to wrap my head around it. I have to think, how I would put it into words. If a Canadian, would go there and also be a pretty substantial player, it would just be so massive.
Yeah, and it's funny because I've actually enjoyed that Beckham documentary. It's quite interesting. But for a guy from there, and he talked about how different it was, I could only imagine what it would be like for Alphonso.
Exactly.
And do you think even from a marketing standpoint for him, do you think it would help him if we look just at the business side?
Without a doubt, because again, bigger league, bigger exposure. Now you're in a completely different, market as well that has its own different kind of reach. And I just think Alphonso Davies has already captured the attention of this country, as he should. And I know some people might say, well, that's not surprising. But in the world of soccer, where, again, we're in a country where hockey reigns supreme, there are still some people who would argue that NFL players are still bigger than Alphonso Davies, in this country. We can sit and debate that, and that's, for another day. But I think you completely silence that argument the second he goes to Real Madrid. The guy already makes a ton of money with the, athletes nowadays, Jason, right? It's the brand, right? So he already makes a ton of money if he were to put something out on Instagram. I think there was even I don't even know these different types of companies that come out with rankings and stuff, and they already ranked him as the most marketable Canadian. And he also, I think, is the Canadian who gets the most money to post about a brand on his social media pages. So he's already there, and that's with Bundesliga. So now imagine if he goes to Real Madrid, it really is just another level. But having said that, and you and me both on the same page with that David Beckham documentary, which is so amazing, you better be careful, or I shouldn't say be careful, but just be prepared that your world completely changes. And it is kind of sad, right? Your privacy goes out the window. Now, mind you, David Beckham had the superstar, wife as well, which that's double the attention from the media, but they are pretty relentless and they'll be all over you. And it is a completely different culture. I'm sure it's a culture shock from the footy perspective. I'm not talking about Spain. Who doesn't want to live in Spain? Oh my goodness, the food. I'd go there in a heartbeat. Thank you very much. But from a football attention perspective, it is going to be a massive culture shock.
Yeah, for sure. TFC had their end of the season presser and hardly anybody was there. How far have they fallen?
Oh my goodness, Jason, I don't mean to chuckle if anyone heard that, but there was a photo that was posted. I think Neil Davidson from the Canadian Press posted, John Molinaro, who has his own TFC Republic. You can subscribe to this. He's just sitting there all by himself. And I even sent him a message. I'm like, were there anybody on Zoom? He's like, no, it was the, two of us. And he said some other people kind of trickled in. I'm sure we can dive into a lot of reasons why that was. I mean, this is a team that held their presser 20 days after they were already out. So a lot of media have kind of moved on. I think it's a little bit of you kind of lost your moment to have your wrap up. But I also think, the other two things I would say is this team has kind of really upset, the fan base and the media. They haven't exactly been the easiest to deal with. They've been very poor performances on the pitch, performances off the pitch. It's been comical in a sad way, right? It's been a tragic comedy. And I just don't think a lot of people kind of want to, cover that, write about that, deal with that. And I think what was also just a little upsetting, and to be also honest with you, Jason, at least for myself, which was a little bit of a turnoff, was we already know, and this is completely bizarre, and I said it could be genius or it could be in the realm of absolute stupidity. They announced John Herdman as the coach, August 28th, and he doesn't coach until the last game of the season. And then Jason Hernandez, in that presser where nobody was at, said that the reason why it also took so long for them to hold the end of season press conference was because they wanted to give more time for John Herdman to settle in. And I'm thinking, where in the world of pro sport has a head coach been so coddled? So yeah, I think you're going to really turn off a lot of media members and you're going to turn off a lot of your fans because I don't think people have faith in what you're doing. And it's incumbent on the organization to prove that they do know what they're doing and to entice people back. And right now they're just not doing it.
Annie Petrillo joins us on Sports 1440. Montreal makes a coaching change. What do you think the chances are? Edmonton, they just brought in Knoblauch from the AHL here. Do you think, is there a CPL coach who's a candidate to go to MLS in Montreal?
Yeah, every time this happens in MLS, we always think, all right, can a CPL coach be the one, especially when it's a Canadian club? And there's a firm belief that it would have been a CPL coach who also would have taken over that Toronto FC job if it wasn't for John Herdman's agent, calling Bill Manning and really pushing to get the job. But yeah, so Olivier Renard, who is the manager at CF Montreal, is Belgium, and the Smirniotis brothers do have connections over in Belgium. And there's word that they are friends and that Olivier Renard, would like Bobby Smirniotis to Forge FC. This is, the all-time winningest coach, obviously, in the Canadian Premier League with that team out in Hamilton, Ontario. He's very well respected. Because of the success he's had in the CPL, they've gained entrance into CONCACAF League and also CONCACAF Champions Cup. So these are massive international tournaments. He has the experience. This is someone who's coached a lot of players as well who have either gone on to the national team or have gone on to Canadian MLS teams. And the belief is that Renard wanted him to begin with. And then, the Saputos, the owners, brought in Hernan Losada. But now there is the real belief that they could push for Bobby Smirniotis. Pamadou Ka, former CPL coach with Pacific, now in MLS Next. There's the belief he could be in the running as well. But Jason, we know this even when it comes to a job opening with the Montreal Canadiens. The next question is, but can he speak French? So I wonder how much CF Montreal is going to really put emphasis on that, like, because all the coaches they've had have been able to speak French. I believe Pamadou Ka can speak French. I don't know if Bobby Smirniotis can, but I don't know if they'll break that tradition, right? Of like, you kind of have to be able to speak both languages. But if they don't insist on French, then yeah, I would think Bobby Smirniotis would be candidate number one.
Okay. Also, the NWSL signed the new broadcast deal. The league will go from making $1.5 million to $60 million.
Yeah.
Like that's like 1.5 to 60. How?
It is crazy. So they signed a 4-year, $240 million deal. And let's just say, right, on the surface, and even if you go past the surface, this is phenomenal. This is excellent. It's $60 million a year. I really hope a lot of the players, obviously see that money. I really hope the women can finally start making really good pro money, and they don't have to rely on national teams to be able to, supplement the salary or rely on making a ton of money with their national federations because they're not being compensated rightfully by their pro team. So this is a huge, feather in the cap, and congratulations to the NWSL for doing this. Hasn't been easy. Starting leagues are not easy. I feel like I repeat myself every time when I talk about the Canadian Premier League, and then even, Project 8 with the women's domestic league that wants to get started here. It's not easy. And NWSL signed this deal over just over a decade of existence, right? So it's been a rocky, 11, 12 years for the league, and they've withstood the storm. So they signed this big deal. I'm a little, I'm curious to see how it plays out, because I am of the belief, Jason, that, it is good to spread the rights out. I don't necessarily think it's always good to have the rights on like one network.
Yes, agreed wholeheartedly.
Yeah, but I do wonder if it's a little too much here. So they're with CBS, ESPN, Amazon, and another streaming service. So I really think it'll be incumbent on the NWSL to really get their scheduling right, because half the battle is making sure your fans know where to find you. They need to know where to find you on any given night and what time. And, so there needs to be some sort of consistency, because when you're spread a little too thin, it can get maybe a little confusing for the fan. But I do think that's a great idea. Now, the first question that comes to mind for a lot of people is, this is going to be great news for the Canadian domestic league. I would say yes and no. Yes, because it shows that there is a willingness to invest in the women's game. And it's not just investment out of the goodness of your heart. It's investment because they've seen the numbers. And the NWSL has been pulling in, quite frankly, similar numbers to Major League Soccer. So the numbers are there. So it's not investment out of the goodness of their heart. It's investment because they're savvy business people. So yes, there's the encouragement of that. But I would also say it's difficult to compare USA market, Canadian market. And I know we're so tempted to do so all the time because culturally we're very similar. But at the end of the day, we just don't have anywhere near the population, which means we don't have anywhere near the corporate dollars, which means we don't have anywhere near the eyeballs, just the plain old fans that they
100%.
would. And we don't have as many networks, Jason. We just don't in this country. I mean, look at us, right? I mean, I work for One Soccer, who's a startup to try and disrupt the market here in the world of soccer. And, you've got this great radio and podcast thing going right now as well. Like we're trying to expand the sporting market in Canada because it's nowhere near where it even is in the United States. So yes, it's encouraging. I think if you're Diana Matheson and Project 8, but at the same time, it really is apples and oranges when you're talking about those kinds of dollar amounts.
Andi, as always, we appreciate it. Great rundown. Enjoy the week. We will talk to you next Monday.
Always have a blast. Bye.
That is Andi Petrillo from CBC and One Soccer. 423 will return. Butch Goring, sick name, great helmet. Will give us the Islanders rundown next on the Monday edition of the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, live on Owners Nation YouTube, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Looking to tackle your backyard projects with power and precision this fall? Look no further than Kubota compact tractors. Experience the perfect blend of compact size and unbeatable value with Kubota. Right now, take advantage of financing as low as 0% for up to 84 months and save up to $1,500 on select models. Plus, as the temperature drops, get ready for Alberta winters with confidence with Kubota Performance Match snowblowers, sweeper, and blades. Visit Edmonton Kubota today for details.
Your furnace is dead. It's time to replace it before winter crushes you. Legacy Heating and Cooling is practically there already.
Yeah, we're working in your basement, doing a replacement. The work is so earnestly building your legacy.
With no payments and no interest for 1 year, you gotta call Legacy. Replacing your dying furnace before it's too late, that's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Trevor is lonely.
Yeah.
So Trevor threw a big party and served salad.
Nobody came.
Mike is also lonely.
Yeah, it sucks, man.
So Mike threw a big party and served Will Hawk beef jerky.
Go Will Hawk! Go Will Hawk! Everybody came!
Will Hawk beef jerky. Because you don't win friends with salad.
Will Hawk is the home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
In Leduc, Spruce Grove, and West Edmonton Mall.
What's better than getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee? Getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee for only $4 plus tax. It's your favorite McDonald's breakfast for less. What's better than that? For a limited time at participating McDonald's in Canada, prices exclude delivery.
Are you ready to light up your game like Edmonton lights up the ice?
Then choose Ewell.
Electrical Wholesalers Edmonton Limited offers lightning fast service. Just like your favorite forward, they deliver your electrical supplies in record time.
Plus winning quality. They only stock the best.
And don't forget about their all-star support. When it comes to customer service, they're the playmakers.
So don't sit in the dark. Make the power play and visit Ewell today. Online at ewel.ca, where excellence in electrical meets the heart of hockey.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada with sports and entertainment properties including the Alberta Junior Hockey League, Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, and the Hockey Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. A new state-of-the-art entertainment center is set to open in Nisku, which will feature 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and restaurant with a viewing area. Since 1987, Ram Elevators and Lifts has been raising the bar and more by manufacturing superior elevators for both residential and low-rise commercial buildings. What drives them? A vision of accessibility, because they know that an elevator or lift is more than just a mechanical device. It's the freedom to go where you want. Ram's North American-made elevators, starting as low as $32,900, are rated as the best residential elevators by Forbes magazine. Grounded simplicity, elevated design. Click on trustram.com.
What does 3 decades of perfecting your craft look like? Ask the guys at Leduc Goldsmiths, locally run and bringing you nothing but quality work and service. Built from the ground up through family, from generation to generation, uncle to nephew, father to son. The pride in their family jewelry store is the pride you take home, bringing you custom and repair work. But it's their face-to-face service that keeps you coming back. Leduc Goldsmiths on Main Street, Leduc. Leduc's jewelry store, family owned and operated for over 30 years.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Try the Shakaroni, a big pizza with a big impact for only $21.99. For every Shakaroni sold until December 31st of 2023, Papa John's donates $1 to Second Harvest. Order at papajohns.ca.
Look good, feel good, play good. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for listening to Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
I know that you don't care, but I want you to know that me stuck in flavor is a favorite treat. Oh, man, Don't bother with the taste of the teach.
428. Welcome back. Sports 1440. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you. We got Spec, Kevin Woodley coming up. Also, help your neighbor and much more. Actually, you know what? We'll do help your neighbor right now at Legacy Heating and Cooling. What's up for grabs? Somebody's going to win a brand new high efficiency furnace, baby. You're going to gift it to someone in your circle. They can't live with you. They have to own their own home and reside within 100 kilometers of Edmonton. It's that simple. You're going to win tickets to the Order game on December 8th. You also get the thermostat or Ecobee Smart installed in your home. It's your choice, either one. But most importantly, you're going to gift someone a brand new high-efficiency furnace. It's the Goodman one. Comes with all the 5-year labor, 10-year parts warranty. It has all the inspection fees included, the permits, everything. Comes with a new thermostat, and they will dispose of the old furnace. Very easy today. We'll see how well you're paying attention to the new head coach. Text your name and the word Knoblauch spelled correctly to 833-401-1440 right now. Knoblauch with your name. We'll pick a random winner, and you'll be qualified to help your neighbor and win a great prize. In the meantime, let's go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And hey, the Fan Day deals are back. You can get a Big Mac, a McChicken, or a filet of fish for only $4 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday at McDonald's. We are joined now by multiple Stanley Cup winner. He is ace analyst for the New York Islanders. Butch Goring joins us once again. Butch, welcome back to the show. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you very much. And I find it very interesting, giveaways. Most people give away cars, but given that you live in Edmonton, you give away a furnace. I just think that's interesting.
Wow, that's giving away cars. That's a pretty big deal. But yeah, no, brand new furnace. That's great. We do it to help your neighbor because yes, hey, somebody needs a furnace, man. At wintertime, it can be a life changer and a lifesaver. For sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Speaking of changes, the Islanders didn't make a lot in the offseason. Lou Lamoriello is historically has been very loyal to his group, and he felt like, you know what, we'd made some changes last season. We thought we'd come in and now we'd be better as a group. And offensively, they're still searching for more offense. Butch, when you watch the game, what is it about the Islanders offense that is lacking?
Well, I think more than anything else, it's probably consistency. That they have moments. As an example, the other night they played well. They had over 100 attempts, and they weren't as accurate as they need to be. But I think it's the consistency effort from this club. They've played well for the first 40, and then given away 3 or 4 home games in the third period. So, as you know, in this league, you've got to play 60 minutes. Everybody's pretty much on par, and so I think for the Islanders, more than anything else, it's consistency. I mean, they have Horvat for the whole year. This time they have Engvall for the whole year. So I mean, those are I think assets that the Islanders were looking at from a manager standpoint and thinking, okay, we've been pretty good over the last couple of years, and we've added a couple of key players. I think we're going to be okay, but it's been a bit of a struggle.
100%. Now. Sorokin, of course, one of the best goalies in the NHL, and it's kind of unique. They've been on an 8-game rotation between him and Varlamov, and Sorokin. Most other goalies, they'd be like, "Hey, 907, that's pretty good." For him, it's kind of below it. Now, is that number not reflective of how he's played, Butch, or is he just being a little bit off compared to the high level he's usually playing at?
No, that's not a reflection of his play. I mean, he's had games where he's lost where. He's been outstanding. I mean, they could have got beat 4-2, and it could have been 7 or 8-2. I mean, this guy makes saves and just does things that the average goaltender just can't do. So his goals against average, his save percentage is not who he is. I mean, without him and Varlamov, who's been sensational, the Islanders would be in a pretty deep hole. Like I said, they've had their moments where they've been okay, but for the most part, it's the goaltending that's really kept them in games.
Where's Matt Barzal? When 85 points as a rookie, and he hasn't come close to that since. Was the 85 just an unreal year, Butch? Has he got more to give offensively? Where's Barzal at, and how has he adapted to the switch to the wing?
Well, it's taken him some time to free himself up, to get into his head how to play wing. But I have to tell you that his last 3 or 4 games have been what everybody expects from him. Superstar like. controlling the play, the most dominant player on the ice, game after game. So he's really found a new level. And when I've asked him about it, I go, what's happening now? What's the difference? And he goes, Butch, I'm finally starting to understand where I have to be playing wing, where I can be effective, where I can get the puck. I mean, he's a guy that needs the puck, and you got to put yourself in position to get the puck, either retrieve it or get a pass from someone. And I think when you play wing, and I never played wing, but I think when you play wing, you have a tendency to stand and expect the puck to come to you. Whereas a centerman, you're working down low, you're getting yourself in position, and things come to you more quickly as far as the puck's concerned. So I think he's starting to understand that. And just because he's a winger doesn't mean he has to stay on the boards.
When you talked about he's starting to understand where he has to go, does he feel maybe it's better suited for him to be a winger, or do you think ultimately he's a better centerman?
I think all us centermen want to play center.
Yeah.
It's the freedom that you have. Now there's a lot more responsibilities, more time in your own zone and better coverage and that kind of stuff. But I think, for guys that have grown up their whole life and have played center, I think if you ask them, I think they're going to tell you I'd rather be a centerman. But as I said, I think he's made a nice move to the wing. His last 3 or 4 games have been really good. So, where he is from day to day, but I don't think he'd ever complain if they put him back at center.
Yeah, that's fair. Looking at the rest of their lineup, and you mentioned their offense, it's been inconsistent, but so I don't know if it's magically suddenly going to find its way there, right? Because they haven't been a good offensive group for a few years, Butch. So how are they going to win? Like, if the Islanders are going to be successful offensively, where do they have to attack offensively?
Well, I think number one is their power play has to be good. I mean, over the last few years, it's been abysmal. This year, it's been better. It's been good at times, and then not so good. And you know very well that the power play for me is not about percentages. It's when you score. You're down a goal, you're up a goal, and you have a chance, especially in the third period, to score a goal. Those are the ones that you need to get, and they haven't really been able to do that on a continual basis. So that's one of the areas. And as I said, they had 100 attempts at the net. So I mean, I always say, during the broadcast, every goaltender in this league goes down. So I don't know why anybody shoots it low. I mean, I'd be whipping it up at the top shelf all day long, and if I fired it over, so be it. But I wouldn't shoot low. So to me, that's always something that I say on the broadcast is, why are you shooting low all the time? But you know what? The game is, I'm not on the ice. It's a fast game today. And so it's a lot easier game for me to play in the booth.
The Oilers, of course, make a coaching change. Sometimes there's a coach bump. I don't know if there's a guilty conscience too. I'm not sure which one's more of it when you're a team because the Oilers have underachieved. There's no question about that. The players, to a man, have to be better. Connor McDavid's 130th in NHL scoring. Obviously, that's below his standard. Leon Draisaitl isn't in the top 20. Right? The Oilers have given up way too many goals. You played what do you expect from the Oilers tonight? And from a far distance, Butch, were you surprised at the Woodcroft change?
No, not really. I mean, whenever your team is struggling and the expectations, from last year to this year, they change. And so it doesn't surprise me. I do, though, because I've been in the same spot as Jay has been. And bad goaltending makes for bad coaches. And it's just that simple. And from everything I've heard, their goaltending was not very good. I think it's probably fairly evident. They sent Jack Campbell down to the minors. He's on a 4 or 5 year deal. So I don't care what kind of coach you are. It's really difficult to win games when your goaltender can't make the big saves. And it's also very frustrating to the players. You're playing hard. You get some chances. Their goalie stands on his head, and then they get a soft one. That's a really frustrating way to play. So, I feel bad for Jay. He's done a great job, and he'll probably get another opportunity. But as I said, bad goaltending makes for a bad coach.
Yeah, that's valid. Is it equally frustrating when you get great goaltending and no offense?
I don't know.
Okay.
I've talked to Sorokin about that. He's playing some games where he's been unbelievable, and I go, dude, what's your feeling on? You got beat 2-1, and you stood on your head, and He goes, Butch, I just want to win games. I don't care. The guys will do what they can do, and I'll do what I can do. So I think, generally speaking, I think that goaltenders are, they're different. There's no question about it. But I think at the end of the day, I think, the team wants to play well. It wants to have a chance to win a hockey game, and not to be redundant. But that goalie's not there for you. You just don't have a chance, and you can't find a way to get over the hump.
One last one. When you look at, I guess, Adam Pelech, what's the update on him?
I don't know if he's back in the lineup or not. Honestly, he's been day to day, as Barry Trotz used to say, day to day, but not today. But I think he's pretty close. So they certainly need him just to get some, some veteran presence, some steadiness. He's got that long stick. He's, hopefully can keep Connor McDavid to the outside. But really don't have an answer for you. As you guys know, Lou doesn't let out a lot of news at any point in time.
Very true. Butch, we appreciate this. Enjoy the game tonight. Thanks for your time.
Okay, thanks, guys. Good to talk to you.
That's Butch Gorn, a longtime analyst for the New York Islanders. It's 4:39. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you. We'll get to our winner for Help Your Neighbor coming up next. We have 5 questions. Mark Spectre. Also, Kevin Woodley and more on the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, live in the E-Well studio. That's EWEL.ca for all your electrical needs.
Looking to tackle your backyard projects with power and precision this fall? Look no further than Kubota compact tractors. Experience the perfect blend of compact size and unbeatable value with Kubota. Right now, take advantage of financing as low as 0% for up to 84 months and save up to $1,500 on select models. Plus, as the temperature drops, get ready for Alberta winters with confidence with Kubota Performance Match snowblowers, sweeper, and blades. Visit Edmonton Kubota today for details.
They say there ain't no I in team, and maybe so, but a K has a nice ring to it. In fact, 10K is how we roll at the Canadian Brewhouse. The CBH offers a teams and leagues program with a chance at free offers and exclusive deals. Plus, book your fundraising event at our house, and you'll automatically be entered to win $10,000 for your group. Whatever your sport choice, we hope to put 10K in your team, if you know what I mean. Sign up today at thecanadianbrewhouse.com.
How do we do it? Well, at Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we invest. Our money and time goes right back into technology and training, and it's all designed to get you back into shape. We invest in people, the people who really care, and they understand how your body works. Then they combine their experience, training, and skills to work with you to help you solve your issues, be it pain in the back, neck, arm, shoulder, heel, literally head to toe. Leading Edge Physiotherapy, always taking new patients because we keep fixing the old ones. Life shouldn't hurt. Find us at leadingedgephysio.com.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Hey everyone, it's Kelly here from United Sport and Cycle. Christmas is just around the corner, and we've got everything for the athlete and sports fan on your list, including United gift cards. United Sport and Cycle, your Santa's workshop for over 95 years.
I got into reffing for the excitement.
He's going for the chair!
Turns out wrestling is completely scripted. But you know what's exciting and unscripted? PlayAlberta.ca. With an all-new sportsbook, odds boosts, and betting on any game.
PlayAlberta.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today with promo code SPORTS50 and get a $50 free bet. Official gaming partner of the Edmonton Oilers. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Order the juice, get the points. Now at Booster Juice, it's rewarding to be loyal. Introducing the Booster Rewards app, the reward program to give you a boost. Order on the app and enjoy 1 berry point for every $1 you spend. Redeem it for tasty Booster Juice treats, like your favorite smoothie, a Booster Ball, grilled fresh wraps and paninis, and cool Booster Juice merch. And with the Booster Rewards app, the more you order, the more you enjoy. Download the Booster Rewards app today. Order, earn, enjoy.
The Taboo, everything to do with sex show, is coming back to Edmonton this weekend. It's Edmonton's sexiest all-inclusive adult party. If you've never been to the Taboo show, you don't know what you're missing. Introducing Glow Friday and Masquerade Saturday. Taboo has something for everyone. It's all about feeling sexy. Bring your sweetheart, your friends, or come alone. Grab a drink, walk around, and enjoy non-stop stage entertainment, shopping, and seminars. Bad Dragon presents The Taboo Show this weekend at the Expo Center in Edmonton. Visit tabooshow.com.
It's fall, and the leaves are they're gonna fall. But with the Lawnmower Hospital, you're ready with one of the most powerful backpack blowers on the market, the Echo PB9010T. It makes clearing the yard a breeze, and Echo chainsaws provide power and durability to take on anything tougher. And if you're looking to clean up snow commercially this winter, fleet programs are available. Ask in store. Visit lawnmowerhosp.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. They've continued developing tools and are excited to announce their newest design, battery-powered nut runners. 4 models from 500 to 3,000 foot-pounds with more on the way. Learn more at cantork.com.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Wanna go for a ride?
4:43 on Sports 1440. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you, and congratulations, Brian was our lucky qualifier today in Help Your Neighbor. Brian, how are you, my man?
I'm fantastic. Yourself, Gregor?
Good. So you've qualified, which means you get one of the brand new Sports 1440 hats, looking pretty sharp. Then you'll go into the draw. We do the draw next Monday, and if you're drawn, you will, of course, be able then to gift someone in your circle a brand new high-efficiency furnace, courtesy of Legacy Heating and Cooling. Do you know anyone who is worthy of needing a new furnace right now?
The brother-in-law's house is getting up there, so he might be due for one.
All right. Well, do a little research this week, because if you win, you want to make sure you're gifting it to someone who truly needs it. And if you win, you'll also be getting the Google Nest or the Ecobee Smart Thermostat in your home and the tickets to the Orders in the Wild game on Friday, December 8th. So stay on the line. Con Man will get all of your information.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
There you go. It is it's that easy. So we have 4 days left for people to qualify, and next Monday we'll do the draw, 4:00 hour, and somebody is going to win a prize for themselves, which is pretty sweet. But more importantly, you're going to be able to change someone a significant impact in their life. It's like $7,000 prize, man. For lots of people who are living paycheck to paycheck, that is a huge, huge benefit that will help them for a long, long time. So stick to win. Tomorrow we'll do it again. Your chance to qualify in the 4:00 hour. Now, let's go to 5 questions, or 5 questions, as Connor likes to call it. Brought to you by The Brick. Stop in at The Brick. They're committed to saving you more with The Brick's holiday price guarantee. You can shop with confidence that you're getting the lowest prices right now at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, question number 1. And obviously, we know what happened for the Edmonton Oilers over the weekend, a little bit of a trade. So I'll ask you this to get the show going. With very little time under Coach Knoblauch, what, if any, changes will you expect to see out of the Oilers tonight?
Not very much, as he said, right? There's going to be small little tweaks. He's going to focus on the zone defense. That's what he wants. Now, they haven't had a full practice, but still, zone defense isn't that hard. This is NHL players. So they'll go over it. I'm curious. We already saw it with McDavid and Draisaitl will be split up. I'm going to be interested to see if we see any sort of tweaks to the penalty kill and who's used at different times. So that's what I'll be watching, because obviously the penalty kill has been brutal.
Yes. I mean, I just hope to see everyone's top effort. I don't want to see anybody lazy on the back check, anything like that. You better throw some hits. You got to impress the new coaches. Try to have a good impression with them in game 1. So that's what I want to see. Just high intensity, high work ethic, get the crowd into it early, and hopefully everything else will come with it. Question number 2. How long before we see Jay Woodcroft back behind the bench at the NHL level?
It's a good question. He's got a pretty good resume now as an NHL head coach. So you look at teams that might be looking to make a change the rest of this year. I think Ottawa is one. If they keep floundering or just hovering around 500, that could happen. You know, the San Jose Sharks, I'm not even sure what's the point to make a coaching change during the season, right? Like, I don't see them going anywhere. They're not that good. They're not that talented. I don't think their coach is that good, to be honest. So, you know, might be in the off season. And you know, there'll probably be 4 or 5 jobs up for grabs. I think, you know, Jay Woodcroft's been around. You know, he's coached for a long time. He's probably got a lot of connections. I will say next year he'll be coaching.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Probably start of the season. I think he'll end up somewhere for sure. Like you said, just with the coaching jobs up for grabs, I don't know what the opportunity would be, but it does kind of lead into our next question. You threw out a team there that I was already thinking of, but with Woodcroft moving on or being fired, is there a coach that you think could be on the hot seat and could be fired next?
Well, DJ Smith, that's the easy one for me. I'm not sure there's many others that would jump into that category. I think he is the obvious one. You know, I know the Islanders, but are you going to fire the coach when you made no changes to your team? Hey, they just fired him in Edmonton, so I get it. I get it. You probably could do it, but yeah, I'll say Smith. I'm not sure, you know, after that there's many, but let's be honest. 14 games ago, nobody thought Jay Woodcroft was on the hot seat, so it can change quickly.
Yeah, that's who I had too, but why don't I throw in Dean Evison? Maybe not a great start for the Wild. He's been there for a while. They haven't got out of the first round, so maybe that one. But yeah, like you said, I think out in Ottawa, that's probably the obvious one. Question number 4. Bills Broncos tonight. Okay, play Alberta. If you wanted to, you could go over there and have some fun right now. But I've asked you guys about this in the past. If you were to take anyone for an anytime touchdown, who do you think is this? No, who's your play? Not the safe bet. Who's your play?
Well, it's the Bills. How can it not be? Like, I know the Broncos beat, but I got to go with the Bills. Like, I can't find them losing at home on Monday night.
But how about for any time touchdown? You got to pick one player to score. It's a fun prop bet.
Well, I'll go with Josh Allen again. I think Josh. I got it last week. I think Josh Allen's rushing touchdown. That's one of the easiest ones to pick.
For my fantasy purposes, down 18 points, I need James Cook and Dalton Kincaid to get into the end zone. So
Kincaid might have a better chance.
Yeah, very much likely. You don't need Latavius Murray coming in there scooping up those touchdowns out of Cook's hands. And a final question for you. Our friends at 96 The Breeze, as I'm sure you've heard, are into their Christmas music this year. That means we get it in the hallways. So I want to ask you, is it too soon for Christmas music, Gregor, or are you into it?
It's a very interesting question because as I was doing my prep, I'm in there and I'm listening to like, what's with the Christmas music? I'll be honest, I don't want to be a Grinch. I think it's too early. I'm more of a month guy. December 1st comes, now I'm into it. Like, we just had Remembrance Day. I know we got American Thanksgiving coming up. That I know we're like, well, we're not American, but I'm like, it doesn't matter. I'm a sports guy, so it's a big thing for me. So I would, I think it's, if you want to go on November 24th, a month, I can live with that. But anything prior, a little bit early for me. It doesn't bother me that people do it. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm someone who does get into the holidays, Christmas, Halloween. Ashley and I will decorate the condo up and have a good time, but we're not going until December 1st. And I will admit, there was a few songs I was kind of humming along to, feeling it, but then I just thought, we've got, 6 more weeks of this? It might get a little tiresome at some point. So for me, I love the holiday season, but December 1st. Gotta make it until December, and then I kind of enjoy it a little bit more.
All right, that's fair. It's funny because I like a lot of Christmas songs, but sometimes it's like a little bit too early. But I know some people love it. Like, they love it. So good on them. I'll never, it's like I know lots of people have their Christmas tree up. Right?
Really?
Oh, yeah. I see people with some people put like Dave McCarthy. I think Dave's got his up his was up November 1st. I think it was. We'll ask him tomorrow. I'm pretty sure he's a November 1 guy. But I know people who put it up early. It comes like December 26th. It's out. Right? So it kind of all depends. I guess maybe it depends what you grew up with. We were always like, put the Christmas tree up around December 5th, something like that. And then we took it down after New Year's. Right, it stayed up the week between Christmas and New Year's, and then took it down after New Year's. So other people put it up early, late November. because they get rid of it on the 26th. So I don't know what's right. Like, I like the tree. I think it looks great. Like, I love the look of it, right? And I love the smell of a real tree. You have a real Christmas tree in your house, it's a little bit of a game changer. I'm just saying. Sadly, I don't have one. Right now, we got a really nice tree, but I do prefer a real tree. So I get all the environmental stuff. So trust me, I know. But it's like the smell of the real tree. You don't get that with a fake tree, right? And I don't get me some air freshener that says pine tree. It's not the same. It's not the same at all. So there you go. Texts are flying in today, hot and heavy at 833-401-1440. Guys, November 1st is premature tree ejaculation. Classic. And guys, Christmas is a good time for judging, and if you have a good hockey team. Ooh, anything. The American threshold is good for both. Maybe fair. So the Oilers got a few weeks here to turn things around. Right, like, do you feel I guess that'd be my easy question. I wonder how many fans feel like the Oilers are a good team that's just performing badly, or are they not that good? I'm wondering where you come out at. Honestly, I still believe the Oilers are a good team underperforming. And once they want to commit, now you can ask the valid question: do they need another goalie? Yeah, I think they do. Stuart Skinner can't play every game. So I guess maybe Calvin Pickard can play now. We'll see. Right? Like, I wonder when you're going to see Pickard. That's an interesting one to me. We obviously saw Jack Campbell in the minors. Not much of a difference. So, could you trade for a goalie? They'll try, but trading for goalies is difficult. No one's giving you one for free unless you can, and trying to find the Kiprusoff. Like, seriously, since Kiprusoff, which other team has went out and found that guy? A lot of people thought Minnesota did it with Gustafsson, and now look at his season this year. Right? Goalies. Now, obviously, system play has something to do with it, no question. Right? Like the Minnesota Wild's penalty kill. Did you see it? They gave up. I had to read the stat line 3 times because I was watching part of the game here and there. And then I was like, God, they scored a lot. They gave up a lot of power play goals tonight. So I looked afterwards. 5. Their penalty kill allowed 5 goals last night. But how about this? Their power play allowed 2 shorties in the same game. 5 power play goals, 2 shorties. What the, what? It's a good thing for the Wild. They're going to Sweden. You can get away here, have a trip. Who's going? Detroit, Ottawa, Minnesota, and Toronto for Sweden. And then they start games, I think, on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And they probably, Minnesota maybe needs that flight over there. But that's a stat you don't see very often, for sure. Hey, Gregor, are you still renting a tree? No, I never rented a tree. I know that's a thing. But, oh, man, I couldn't believe it. Rent a tree. Why? I want to get I know they rent the real trees. Like, I kind of like the theory of it, but to me, it's going to be hard to put that bad boy back, right? It's a tough one. It's a lot of responsibility, too. I want to rent the tree and then it dies. Now you're on the hook. Let's get to the lineup tonight, brought to you by Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. It's a brand new state-of-the-art facility in Sherwood Park, just across the road from Millennium Place, down from Sherwood Ford. If you've been there, this place is unreal. How about this? They have a 91,000, I didn't say that wrong, 91,000 liter test pool that you can service your boats in. Check it all out. It's awesome. So check it out at Power Sports and Marine in Sherwood Park. The lineup, the new coach, a few changes. Not major. Skinner's in goal. Nurses with Cece. Bouchard's with Ekholm. Desharnais with Kulak. No changes there. Up front, McDavid, centering. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Sam Gagner. Basically, every 4, there's a little symmetry there, Cons. 89 plus 4, 93 plus 4, 97. We'll see. See if that works. Then you have Leon Draisaitl, centering Evander Kane, Zach Hyman. Ryan McLeod with Fogle and Holloway, which is a line, they started out with. And then you have Lavoie with Ryan and James Hamlin in between them at center ice. Connor Brown did skate today with the main group and is getting close to returning. You might see him on Wednesday. We'll see. If not Wednesday, it's going to be Saturday. It's one of the two for Connor Brown, so he is getting close. And I think when Brown comes back in, there's a good chance you might see him on the top line. I know Sam Gagner, it's a great story, but I don't think Sam Gagner is a top 6 answer for your team long term. I don't think that's where he helps your team. All right? They can help on your second power play unit. You know what? If he's going in a game, you can bump him up for sure, but I don't think he's a regular guy in your top 6. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't necessarily see that. He's smart enough. There's no question about that. But I'm not sold that that's where they want him to be long-term on this team. And the one thing I'll be interested about, Knoblauch was very honest. He says, hey, it's going to take me a while to make this my team. As far as, you make some tweaks, you start with some small things, and then he's going to keep adding things as they go. Right? He feels like the one thing they do, they want to play faster. So that's a big onus on him. Play fast. They really want the defense to move the puck quickly out of the zone. There's going to be a zone defense, which isn't a shock, right? People are like, oh, that's why they couldn't win because of zone defense. It's such a cop-out. Ugh, drives me up the wall. You tell me NHL players can't play zone defense? Execute. Figure it out. It's not hard. Lots of teams do it. This is not rocket science here. You're playing zone defense. It's not difficult. So look for that in. And the big one will be trying to eliminate, and as Paul Coffey said, play the odds. Play the odds. If you have the puck at a certain place in the D zone, you're here, play the odds. Is this a high percentage chance I can make the play? I'll try it. If it's a low percentage chance, then I'm not doing it. That's what they want them to start thinking more about, eliminating the low risk plays, especially in your own zone, but even at the offensive blue line. Look at the prime example, San Jose, 2-1. Early in the third period, Darnell Nurse just puts it into the corner. Ryan McLeod, who knows what happened? The play keeps going on. Maybe it just ends up in a 2-2 tie. Who knows? I can't predict the future. But we do know that what happened was you don't put it deep, turnover, goal. Ultimately lose the game. So they're going to try that. And that's a lineup report brought to you by Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. Coming up, Spec will join us. And we got Kevin Woodley on the goaltenders. We'll hear more from Chris Knoblauch, Leon Draisaitl, as well after a Connor Halley Sports 1440 update brought to you by Edmonton Kubota. And we know it's coming eventually. I know we're not talking Santa Claus. That'll be awesome when he arrives. But eventually the snow is coming. So plan ahead and get all the great snow removal equipment that they have right now at Edmonton Kubota and all the great accessories to help relieve the stress of snow removal. EdmontonKubota.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
It's game day. The Oilers in action. Chris Knoblauch's first game behind the bench as head coach for the Oilers. They take on the Islanders. Puck drop just after 6:30 in that one. One other game tonight. The Avs head to Seattle, take on the Kraken. 8 o'clock start there. Week 10 in the NFL will wrap up tonight as the Broncos take on the Bills. Down gets going at 6:15. 4 games in the association as the Raptors are at home taking on the Wizards. That gets going at 5:30. Raptors forward OG Anunoby listed questionable with a right finger laceration. Elsewhere around the association, Celtics take on the Knicks. The Bulls in Milwaukee and the Kings hosting the Cavaliers. The Toronto Blue Jays announcing the hiring of DeMarlo Hale as the associate manager under manager John Schneider. And in the AJ 1 game tonight, Spruce Grove in action as they'll travel to Grand Prairie taking on the Storm. That one starting at 7. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spectre of Rogers Sportsnet and Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free Radio Player app and listen wherever you go.
At The Brick, we're not just proud of this city and its rich sports history. We're proud partners of it. The Brick started right here in Edmonton over 50 years ago. And when we're not cheering on the Oilers and Oil Kings live at the game, or the Edmonton Elks under the bright stadium lights, we're in our stores, providing everything you need to cheer them on in your home. The Brick, supporting Edmonton sports teams and fans since 1971, saving you more.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk, family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
What's better than getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee? Getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee for only $4 plus tax. It's your favorite McDonald's breakfast for less. What's better than that? For a limited time at participating McDonald's in Canada, prices exclude delivery.
Being on this road together means saving twice during the Fountain Tire Road Ready sales event. Save up to $225 on a set of 4 select tires. Plus, get a bonus $50 off any service until December 16th. Book your appointment at fountaintire.com. Restrictions apply. Financing available. Ugh, fine print.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. With state-of-the-art motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
Story time with Mr. Rooter.
Mr. Rooter, can you tell me a bedtime story?
Sure, son. But can you just call me Dad?
Nope.
How about Papa?
No, you're Mr. Rooter.
Okay, son. What story this time?
Can you read the one about the sewer roots?
No way. You know how you get root nightmares.
Please.
Not a chance.
Please. Papa?
Oh, boy. Just don't tell your mother.
You mean Mrs. Rooter?
For a plumbing story with a happy ending, call Mr. Rooter.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Does anyone buy an RV in the fall? I mean, why would you go to all the trouble to find just the right one when you can't enjoy it until the spring? Only someone like Rick Showers from Noble RV would know the answer. Ain't that right, Rick?
That's right, Bob. You'd be surprised how many people buy their RV from us in the fall. It's a buyer's market. The people who sell their RVs with us are often a little more motivated to sell this time of year. And that means a better deal for you. And when you buy your quality used RV from No Bull now, I cover the cost of storage and winterization for the coming winter. So you can pick it up in the spring, ready to roll, without paying an extra cent.
Winterization and storage? That can cost quite a bit, Rick.
Not when you come to No Bull. Our inventory is constantly changing. Something we have today, we might not have in the spring. So the best time to find the RV that's right for you is anytime.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by BIE Engineering, your structural engineering specialist. Whether you're in the process of a renovation or building your dream home, BIE can help you out. Go to BIEENG.com.
Look good, feel good, play good. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for listening to Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Well, it's been another wild weekend for the Edmonton Oilers. Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, coming to you live in the E-Well Studios. How are you? It is game day as the Edmonton Oilers are taking on the New York Islanders. Remember, it's a little bit of an earlier puck drop tonight, around 6:42 to be exact. That is when the puck will drop tonight, and Chris Knoblauch will become officially an NHL head coach. It is the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation YouTube, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Get in the game, baby. Just a little tip for you, just so you know. Never in his career has Connor McDavid gone 4 games without a point. He has no points in his last 3. So take that for what you want. PlayAlberta.ca. Let's get to the spec report, brought to you by GS Construction. Family-run business. It's going to be celebrating 50 years next year. Built it out. Dad started. Now Turan runs it. And I'll tell you, if you're looking for a fantastic company to work for, then they are there. Great benefits, great company, really good culture there too. Lots of sports fans. You'll fit right in. Go to Indeed.com and look up GS Construction as Mr. Spectre joins us once again. Spec, how you doing, my man?
Oh, never been better, man. Never been better. Lots of hockey, lots of stories, lots of columns, whole lot of stuff going on around this town these days, huh?
There is no shortage of storylines for certain on the Oilers. I guess give me your thoughts now that you've had a few days to dissect what went down with Woodcroft and then the hirings and the replacements. What do you think?
Well, I think it unfortunately it had to happen. It does seem weird firing a coach with a 640 winning percentage, but they didn't fire a coach with a 640 winning percentage. They fired a coach that was 2-9-1. That's the coach they fired, right? It didn't matter what he'd done in the last 2 years because this is supposed to be a playoff year, and there's an owner sitting out down in California or Vancouver or wherever Daryl Cates is, and he's counting on some playoff games out of this team. And honestly, I think a lot of the pressure came straight from the top on this one. So that was, that went down the way it went down. And the new coach is here, and let's see how he does. I don't know him well. I don't even know how he coaches that much. I liked a few of the things he said today, but he did not come in with all the answers, which I think is a good thing, Jason.
100%. This was not a guy who was going to, we're going to be the hardest working team. We're going to do this or that. I thought he was quite confident. This is what I like to play. This is like the system that I want to play. These are the things we're going to try to implement. We want our team to play fast, right? We want to be better in the defensive zone. And, then talked about a few other things, but nothing over the top, nothing crazy at all. I thought it was actually pretty sound. I like the fact that he wasn't shy to say, hey, these are the things we're going to implement as a team. There, none of this cloak and dagger stuff that happens too often in the NHL. Like, give me a break. You know what? I never saw John Cooper do that. I'm just using it as an example because he's been pretty successful. So I don't think that's necessary whatsoever. The odd one, though, let's be honest, I don't think we can avoid it. It's rare to have an advisor to the owner as an assistant coach now.
Yes. Paul Coffey as an assistant is the one thing in this whole, this turning carousel. It's the one horse that all the horses are white on the carousel, and that one's kind of blue or green or yellow. It doesn't seem to have the same. I get everything else. I'm not sure I get that. And you know what? I know Paul Coffey a little bit, and I've got a ton of respect for him, man. He's Paul Coffey, for crying out loud. I don't need to give you his resume. I guess the only question that I have with Paul Coffey is, and I'm not saying he's lazy. I'm not saying he doesn't want to work hard, but I am wondering if he wants to be an assistant coach, because I know how hard assistant coaches have to work. Assistant coaches show up at the rink at 6:30 in the morning and start going over every one of their defensemen shifts. And then they sit down with those defensemen and they hold meetings and they run drills. And man, assistant coaches in today's game, they work long hours and they work hard. If Koff wants to do that, if that's who he is and he wants to do it, he'll be able to do it. At his stage of his life and with the business deals he's made has on his resume, if I was him, I'm not sure I'd want to work that hard, Jay.
I think, Spec, that this is not a long term with Paul Coffey as the assistant coach. And some can say that that's maybe adds to the dysfunction. Valid. I think it's one where they think he can help Knoblauch early on, get his feet under him, and then look to see, what, can you bring another coach? Well, you could just, Stewart's been around, right? Doesn't have a boatload of experience, but he's been around, former NHL player. Could he run your defense? Right? That's what we'll see. But I think if Paul Coffey, if he stays on the full year, that's the longest he stays on.
Oh, for sure. If they said he's going to do it till the end of the year, we'll see. We'll see. And I just want to be clear. I'm not saying negative things about Paul, believe me, but I thought Paul was very comfortable in the role he had before that allowed him to, come and go from the team a little bit. When you're an assistant coach, man, you are embedded and you are there every second of every day. So if he's up for the task, it's always hard to know. Like, listen, the great Maurice Richard, right? Or was not a very good head coach back whenever he coached in the 60s. Wayne Gretzky, his coaching resume wasn't great. He's Wayne Gretzky, the greatest player ever to play the game. Didn't turn out to be the greatest coach ever to coach the game. So just because you were a great player, and very few did what Paul Coffey did better than what he did, man. We all watched him growing up. But it does not always, draw a straight line to being a great coach. I guess we're going to find that out now, aren't we?
Oh, 100%. Right? Like, hey, smart guy. He's played a lot.
Yep.
And you know what? Coaching nowadays is as much about communication spec as it is anything else. Like the players now have watched video. Like players many decades ago didn't watch video, so the coaches could teach them stuff. Nowadays, lots of these players, they're watching video in junior, right? Heck, there's some people that are watching video, in the U18 and such, right? So they're well versed in that stuff. It's now, you can always tweak little things here or there, but a lot of it is just communicating with your players, trying to keep their confidence high, right? Knowing when and how to relate to different guys. Maybe one guy needs a kick in the rear end. Maybe another guy needs a pat on the back. That to me is the bigger one. It's not like there's some massive secret here about systems or anything like that. I think where coaching can matter is in a playoff series when where you're locked in on one team now and you have to find the area to exploit. In the regular season, you're playing a different team every time. So you're like, okay, this is our system. We pretty much play it to a T. And then the odd game, maybe you might tweak something if some team has a glaring thing. But you play Seattle on Saturday and then you're playing the Island. Do you think they're coming down now, breaking down, having a whole new thing? Of course not. So I think coaching matters more in the playoffs than it does in the regular season.
Well, I think you're saying everything you just said is 100% true. And remember, too, they've got a ton of experience here. Like Glenn Gulleton, he's been around this team for about 5 years, and he's been a head coach on 2 other teams. You've got the head coach in Chris Knoblauch, who I'm going to say has got to be qualified for this. We're going to find that out. I'm sure he is. And then you got Mark Stewart. He's been, I assume I don't know who changes the D-man tonight. And here's a name you should keep track of. Somebody phoned me yesterday and said, watch out for Jay McKee. He's the head coach, the old Sabres defenseman. Him and Knoblauch have a relationship. He's the head coach in Barrie, I believe, right now, the Barrie Colts. That could be a name that could end up on the radar here at some point.
Okay, fair enough. The Oilers actually played really well against Seattle, Spec. Right, like they got up 4-0. Had some hardworking goals. Then they didn't give the game away. In the second period, they outshot them 9-4. They didn't take any big risks. And then, I saw people complaining, they sat back. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, no offense. If you're the fan who complained about the Oilers sitting back when they didn't give up many good chances, having seen them lose game after game, like grab a clue. Seriously, go outside, grab a capital C, try to find an L, a U, and an E because you don't have one. Because that is like this team has sucked at protecting leads and giving up goals. And now you're complaining because they sat back too much and they won 4-1. It might be the most inane complaint I've heard in a long time.
Yeah, I totally agree. I watched with Daniel Nugent-Bowman of The Athletic. We were the 2 guys on the road here sitting in Seattle, and obviously it's 4-0 at the end of the first. And I said to Daniel, I don't think it gets past 5 tonight. There was a time when 4 would have turned into 7 or 8, and the big boys would have feasted. Now, maybe if McDavid and Draisaitl were going better, it might have. But that team showed very little nose for the net the last 2 periods. They did what you said. They said, we got 4. This is going to be enough tonight. We need this win so badly. We are not letting it get away. And it's just good to see an Oilers team with that ability, the ability to shut her down. We haven't seen it much. So I'm with you, man. 4 was enough. And I thought that Oilers fans should be happy to watch their team get in 40 clean minutes. Okay, 1 power play goal, but 40 pretty clean minutes of hockey at the end of that game.
Yeah, and a power play goal off a guy's skate, like smart play by Schwartz, right? But it wasn't like they gave up the tic-tac-toe goal or anything. And we'll see. It's one game because we said this after the Calgary game, and then they soiled the sheets, and it was giveaway a Rama against Dallas the next day, despite their 49 shots. Yeah. So, what do you make of to me, splitting up Draisaitl and McDavid makes sense. I'm curious about Kane, Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, McDavid, because those left wingers seemingly have worked better with the other one, but we'll see.
Well, we'll see. I thought that Knoblauch explained it pretty well today. If you mix, he said, if you play them on separate lines, both of those guys command so much ice time. It's hard to get enough ice time for your third and fourth line, and that's why coaches end up putting them together. And and then there's the temptation. He already admitted to it. Look, he says, you're down in a game. You're coming out of a penalty kill. There is the temptation to put them together. He really spelled out how it is that coaches end up wrestling with that problem together or apart. I'm a believer in the apart because I think it gives you something to go to in game, right? As opposed to if you start them together and you don't have enough goals, pulling them apart doesn't usually help. So I believe you start games with those two guys apart and it gives you a plan B. But I think you'll see this coach, any coach, if it's 3-2 in 10 minutes left in the game, you find me the NHL coach that isn't going to put those two guys over the boards together once in a while.
Yeah, no, it's very true. Spec, we'll see you at the rink. Go ahead.
What do you think of all the McDavid stuff today and the stuff out there about him pulling the strings and running the show and hiring the coach and the president? What do you think about all that?
Well, unless he's a really good actor, I don't believe he knew this hiring was coming. Like, did you hear him and Knoblauch talk about one another? Like, they really haven't communicated in the last 8 years. Both of them said that. So yeah, I don't think that would be the guy. I think Jeff Jackson has way more insight into Knoblauch than McDavid ever did. Look at how many clients of Jeff Jackson's have played under Knoblauch in Erie and in Philly and in Hartford. Go look it up. Frank Saravalli tweeted out. There's a lot of them. So you know what? You talk to the guys because when you're the agent, you're going to get a real good feel of how players feel about the coach, right? Like a really good, honest assessment from that player about what they think of the coach. So I think he has a lot of clients over the year that have worked for him who give him a good insight into Knoblauch.
Yeah, I thought that I think Connor's not. I wrote a column on this. It's up on sportsnet.ca, and I thought it was a story of the day today. In terms of the angle I chose to write, Connor doesn't like what he's hearing. He doesn't like people saying that he's the guy making these calls. He doesn't like that one bit. You know Connor a little bit. I know Connor a little bit. The one thing he doesn't want to be viewed as is a guy who thinks he's better than the group or special or a guy who, is behind the scenes. Let me tell a quick story. It's in my column. It'll be quick, Jay. The last Olympics, in the summer before the last Winter Olympics, and we still thought that NHLers had a chance that they might be going to the Olympics. McDavid skated, I think it was at Gary Roberts' camp, with Sid Crosby. And I was told by somebody at that camp, McDavid made sure to get on the same line and spent some time playing with Sid that summer. I asked McDavid about it in the fall, and he said, I'm not talking about it. And that's it. He didn't explain it. He didn't do nothing. But here's why I wouldn't talk about it. Because if he doesn't want people to think that he was already managing the lines before the Olympic coach even was picked. He doesn't want to be accused of, oh yeah, I was playing with Sid because I'm going to go to the Olympics and tell the coach I want to play with Sid. He is so not the guy, right? I know the kid a little, some, you and I have been around him enough, Jay. I'm not saying we're buddies. We're not going out for beers. But what I know about McDavid is this whole thing about him sitting in the back and manipulating and holding the strings and making the calls, no chance.
Yeah, I would agree with you wholeheartedly. Spec, have a good one.
All right, see you tonight, Jay.
That's Mark Spectre. Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. When we return, Kevin Woodley will join us. We'll talk goaltending and more. The Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. It's simply the best time to buy. The Black Friday event is on right now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. You'll save up to a game-changing $7,500 off your purchase or finance as low as 1.49%. Choose from a winning selection of 2023 cars and SUVs like the sleek S60 or the roomy and comfortable XC60s and 90s. Black Friday is on now at Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Visit 1205 101st Street Southwest or chat online at volvocarsedmonton.com.
First Round is Edmonton's NFL headquarters. Get in the game and watch NFL football this season at First Round, and you'll have a chance to win a trip to your favorite NFL city to watch a game in person next season. And the hits keep on coming with food and drink specials, big screen TVs, and more. Catch the Pro Bowl brunch every Sunday, Monday Night Football, and head in Thursdays for your chance to win an NFL replica helmet. NFL at First Round. Burgers, beer, sports. Downtown West Edmonton Mall and at 1strmd.ca.
When you hand deliver a hamper to a family in need, everyone's hearts fill with joy. Be part of the Holiday Hamper Program, a charitable experience unlike anything in Edmonton. Sign up to adopt a local family, fill a hamper with food and gifts, then bring it to their door and see the difference you're making firsthand. With the rising cost of living impacting so many families, the need has never been greater. Sign up for the Holiday Hamper Program today at holidayhamper.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
There's nothing like having a little skin in the game to make things interesting. But when a little skin becomes more than you can afford to lose, it's time to take a break from sports betting. Set a budget and stick to it. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Weiss Johnson, whoa!
Hi, Dennis from Weiss Johnson. Can you believe that summer is over and fall is here? With that in mind, we are offering free furnace upgrades from Daikin, should you be looking to get a new furnace. This means getting a better model of furnace that provides you greater comfort at a lower price. Plus, Daikin has the best warranty in the business. There's never a better time to get a new Daikin furnace from Weiss Johnson. We know how important a good furnace is in Edmonton, so don't procrastinate as this is a limited time offer. Visit wjheats.com today.
Did you strike out on booking Network Travel's 2023 baseball trip to see the Jays play by the Bay in Seattle? Well, registration is now open for the 2024 trip next season. Want to fly in for the Sunday, July 7th game and return the same day? Or do you want to fly in Saturday morning and catch both games that weekend with an overnight stay? Either way, it won't be long before Network Travel has a full count for both options. So book today at networktravel.ca.
You're listening to The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, the clear choice for all your auto, residential, and commercial glass. Call 310 Glass or book now at crystalglass.ca.
He's not just another pair of glasses. It's The Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for checking out Edmonton Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
5:25. How are you? Game day. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440. Let's get to Kevin Woodley, who joins us every Monday on the show as we go in the room, brought to you by Next Gen Transportation, heavy haul transport provider, 100% locally owned and operated. And hey, they got new trailers in and they're ready to roll. So check them out now at nextgentransportation.com. This is Kevin Woodley. Joins us. Woodley, how you doing?
I'm good, Jason. I'm good.
All right, let's get right into it. Stuart Skinner had a better game. No surprise when you're not getting giving up tons of chances. But to me, the key was he made a high danger save early because he hasn't made enough of those. He had an expected save percentage of one of the worst on high dangers. He made a good save early, gave him some confidence, gave the team confidence, and then they rolled.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's fun. It's funny because Seattle didn't generate much in that game, and yet how different would it have been if that one goes in early, right? So, they only had 3 high danger on the night, but I think it's easier to sort of settle into your game and play better defense. Like there's a level of trust required of the goaltenders behind you. As much as, I've railed pretty heavily on how bad they've been defensively, and the numbers continue to back that up. But when you don't get the save, what happens is everybody starts to try and do everybody else's job, right? Like I've got to block that shot, even if it's not in the lane that I'm responsible for. I've got to make sure this guy doesn't get the shot. Like you try and do too much when you don't trust the goaltending to do its job. And pretty soon, if everybody's chasing around, nobody's doing their job. And that's a tough snowball once it gets rolling downhill to stop. And so making that save early probably played a role in, Edmonton doing a better job defensively against Seattle than frankly they've done in a long time.
I saw you had an article. Jack Campbell, of course, was in Abbotsford playing 2 games. In your conversation with Jack, what'd you make of, obviously his career's not going the way he wanted it right now, trying to refine himself in the American League?
Yeah, no, I think first and foremost, Jason, and it was in that article on NHL.com. He feels good about his game. And, I think that might be a little tough to rectify with the numbers when he got sent down. But, again, we've talked about where he was, where they were defensively. His numbers before the national game were exactly where they were adjusted save percentage wise when he was in Toronto for those 2 years. I think more to the point, for him to be able to say that and feel that is important for Jack Campbell, because as he said to me, and I had to paraphrase it a little bit in the quotes, because the actual quote was, if I'd had those numbers a couple of years ago, it wouldn't have mattered whether I thought I was playing well. I would have been beating the living bleep out of myself. And he's not doing that right now. And so he's got some help. I don't know if I didn't ask, he didn't want to give me a name, and that's fine. I don't know whether it's an actual sports psychologist or a mental mindset coach, but he's got some help since April. And he thinks that this person's made a massive difference. And I think talking to him, because the first one in Abbotsford didn't go that well either. And so the next morning at practice, out early, talking to him after, the mindset he was able to bring to that and the sincerity with which he spoke about where his game was at, those were all good things for Jack Campbell in terms of the person and the personality that we've seen, how hard he is on himself. I think that all bodes well. Now, he's still got to find his game. I know there were strides taken last year, the work he did with Dustin Schwartz. He talked about Manny Legacy. And I think that's one of those things where it's just, that's new, so we ask about it. That's different, so we ask about it, and that's where he talks about. But the reality is, he said he'd only worked with Manny for a little while in August after moving back to Michigan. I think a lot of the groundwork here started last year with Schwartz, and there's a couple of adjustments since then that they've worked through together. And at the end of the day, he feels good about them, and that's all positive. But they've got to start to produce results in the American League so he can get back to the NHL. Because interestingly enough, I think he's better as an NHL goalie than he will be in the AHL, because the reads he's typically pretty good at in terms of breaking down the game are typically easier and cleaner to make. In the NHL, it's a game where there's less mistakes made in front of you. So be interesting to see how they handle it, whether he gets that opportunity. But at the very least, in a very difficult situation, his mindset seems to be in the right place.
There's lots of people wondering, another coaching change, no goalie coaching change. And people are like, are you kidding me? At some point, maybe a different I could understand if the argument is maybe it's just time for a different voice. I could probably understand that one somewhat. I don't know if the Oilers have ever had I don't think they've had an A goaltender. So I don't think a goalie coach can make a B goalie an A goalie. Maybe I'm wrong on that, and you can give me your thoughts on it. But what do you make about them sticking with their goalie coach?
I would say I'm not surprised. We had this discussion before. The only other market I've ever been asked about this to this extent is Winnipeg. And I remember having been on the ice with Wade Flaherty and seeing him work, and I've had the same pleasure with Dustin Schwartz and seeing him work. I believe that there was a really good goalie coach, and I believe the same things of Dustin Schwartz. And within a year and a half of continuously getting those questions in Winnipeg, Connor Halley started to put all the things together that they were working on and ended up winning a Vezina trophy. So I'm not calling a Vezina trophy for Stuart Skinner, but I think he's a great example of a guy that, you talk about exceeding expectations, even as a third-round pick. I'm not sure anybody saw what happened last year. And yes, there's been a bit of a step back, but it looks like these last couple of games, he's finding things again. There's one of the few guys that you could say, hey, Dustin Schwartz has had a chance to work with this guy, was a part of the process of picking him and bringing him in. And I think it's a pretty good example. I think he can put Mika Koskinen and even Mike Smith and some of the results that Mike Smith had late in his career under Dustin Schwartz. So I understand where the criticism comes at a time when goaltending is in the spotlight. We could go through the numbers again. I know I've been hammering them ad nauseum to you, Jason, where they are defensively. I don't know that it matters who your goalies are right now, and yet you still want to be, like you said, the big save from Stuart Skinner the other night. You need more from your goaltending. I just don't think that's where you're going to find it. I don't think that's a change that needs to be made because I don't think that's where the problem lies.
What about what you see? Because you know the technical side way more than I do, right? When you see, because to me, I do believe though that if you don't have an A goalie, like the goalie coach is not that he's irrelevant, but you can't take a B goalie and make it an A goalie. Or do you think a goalie coach can do that? Because I don't think a defense coach can make a third pair guy a first pair guy. I don't believe it can happen. So do you believe a goalie coach can make that much of an impact in a player's career where suddenly they're going to be like, have you seen a goalie coach take a meh goalie and make him great?
I mean, I've seen guys, and it's all about the fit too, right? Like I've seen guys who, were later on in their career and hadn't really hit, get somewhere new, find a new voice, find a new message, and all of a sudden they hit. And sometimes that's just like a matter of time and experience, being willing to listen to a new voice. Like look at Jacob Markstrom when he got to Vancouver, right? And there were multiple voices involved in that. When he first got here, it was Rolly Melanson asking him to play deeper in his crease. And he actually wasn't happy about it at the beginning. He's like, why'd you guys get me if you wanted to change me? Sometimes the goalie has to be ready for that message and ready for that voice. And then Ian Clark comes in and adds another layer to Jacob Markstrom's game. So you have seen goalie coaches have positive impacts. And again, I would point, whether it's Koskinen or Smith, I think there's been positive impacts from Dustin Schwartz. Just a couple of years ago, we were talking about how people didn't love the games of either of those guys. But when I pointed at the numbers, they were pretty strong. And I remember when both left, kind of sort of throwing it out there like, hey, like everybody's happy to see these guys, Mike Smith retire and everything. But
thank you.
Replacing them isn't that easy, right?
Thank you. That's what
the numbers were good. So, again, and Dustin Schwartz is a part of that process. And I've talked to those guys. I've talked to Mika Koskinen. I've talked to Mike Smith about the changes, and they're often subtle. I think what you want and what you see is when you see a guy with a lot of raw skill and then you add technique to it. Is it going to make a B guy an A guy? I'm not sure. But what you can find is more consistency. To me, technique breeds consistency. If you have a foundation you can go back to, you're less likely to ride the big waves of highs and lows. And I think that's where a goalie coach can have a real impact. You can't create athletes, but you can help sort of hone the technical and tactical game to help them find a higher level of consistency. And again, I think there's been examples there, as much as nobody wants to hear it, in Edmonton with Dustin Schwartz as the goalie coach.
Kevin Woodley joins us from InGoal Magazine, NHL.com. I know you're getting a lot of hate texts right now, Woodley. So welcome to the show. You're that's when you know you've said something to, because some people they want to find someone to blame, so they want to blame the goalie coach. And let's be honest, 99% of the people complaining, I don't know enough about goalies. I've said that all along. That's why I get guys like you on the show. I talk to other people about that position. I don't feel like I've gotten better. I've learned lots over the years talking to you, and I can pick out some things now, but still I would say I'm an extremely novice when it comes to that. But I do find a lot of people they see something and then somebody writes it on Twitter and they believe it and blindly believe it, not knowing. So I do find there's a lot of piling on. They want to blame someone. So, hey, what's the one consistent in Edmonton? It's being the goalie coach. So, I could see if someone said, hey, get another voice. Maybe if that's your argument, at least I can kind of buy it. I do want to get to, like different goalies and systems. And you said at the start of the year, you predicted Cam Talbot would have good numbers in LA just like the guy leaving LA wouldn't have as good of numbers in Ottawa. And I'll give you credit. Bang on. Cam Talbot's in LA after he struggled in Ottawa, and now Korpisalo's in Ottawa, and he's not having the same success that he had in LA.
Yeah, and hey, listen, like not to hammer on it because the people want to blame it on the goalie coach and the goalies. And listen, I'm going to say they have to make more saves. 100%, they'll tell you the same thing in those big moments. But guess what? When the environment is that bad, it's really hard to overcome. And we've seen it in Ottawa for a number of years now. And on the flip side of it, the Kings continue to roll out what is probably the most goalie-friendly environment in the National Hockey League. And so Korpisalo goes in there last year and has a ton of success. Now, he was playing really well. And I guess at the end of the day, there are certain types of chances that if you see enough of them, the puck ends up in the net. And so this isn't to dismiss the job that Cam Talbot's done. It's more the compare contrast between what he was facing in Ottawa and what he faces in LA. And the ability in a game that has become increasingly unpredictable for goaltenders, the dynamic offense that's out there, the lateral plays that a lot of teams are trying to generate. Not the Oilers so much this year offensively. We talked about those numbers as well. But when you have that element, as much predictability as you can, like, hey, I trust that I can focus on this guy and this guy alone, and that my defenseman's got that guy in the back door, or my backtracking forward's going to catch up to that pinching defenseman, so he's not a big concern. Like, you just sort of limit the options and allow yourself, as much as you still have to worry about all the possibilities, you can focus on your job first and trust everyone around you to do theirs. And we've seen that in LA for the past number of years. And again, it's not just the defenseman. It's led, we see it in Boston by Bergeron, sort of leading that mentality among the forwards, the importance of backtracking forwards. Anze Kopitar, Phil Deneau. Like, the reason these teams have success is not just because they have a great defensive system and great defensemen. It's because they get buy-in from forwards coming back. And I've seen the same thing in Vancouver this year. So, Casey DeSmith looks great right now. He's 4-0-1. He's doing a hell of a job for the Vancouver Canucks. Spencer Martin, people didn't think he could play in the league. The environments those guys are in right now for DeSmith versus last year for Spencer Martin are night and day, Jason. And that's what you're seeing with Talbot and Forsberg right now.
Are you surprised at Jonathan Quick, or is it a product of the system?
Hey, listen, Peter Laviolette produces great defensive teams, especially in his first couple of years. So I'm not surprised the goalies are having success. But I am surprised that Quick's having the level of success he's had. And good on him. Because the numbers last year, not just in LA, but even once he got to Vegas, the adjusted numbers weren't flattering. And I thought this might be a move because Jarl Halak was good for them. And I thought this might be a move that bites them in terms of not just playoff position and where they are as a team, but being able to rest Igor Shesterkin. And Jonathan Quick, and I'm happy to say it, has shut me the hell up. He is playing great. And the thing I noticed the most, he is playing contained. Rarely are you seeing him chase outside of the blue ice. At the most, he's got the heels of his skates out there. And that's a bit of a big difference. He backed up over the years in LA, but right now he just looks calm and controlled. And yeah, part of that's environment, but part of that's a tactical adjustment. I think that he's even more so adopted this year than in the past couple of years. And it really seems to be working for him in New York. And that's a good thing, because I talked to him when he came through here, and Jason, like, he grew up loving the Rangers. This is sort of a dream come true for him to wear that jersey. And it's kind of nice when these things happen to guys who've had such great careers that they go out, hopefully, on his own terms.
And lastly, there's some reports that the Oilers were looking at a goalie trade last week, and it didn't come to fruition. I've seen names out there, Jake Allen, Binnington, Swayman. Obviously, Swayman is the one that would intrigue me the most. I'm very lukewarm on Binnington. Where would you come out on those three?
Well, he's used to playing behind a bad defense. That would help. He's used to seeing a lot of grade A chances. He's in the narrative around St. Louis when they won the cup was that they were a good defensive team, and it was true. After that, it was pure narrative. They weren't. His adjusted numbers, there's been ups and downs over the last couple of years, but they've been pretty solid. This year, they're spectacular again. And what I really break down when I'm looking at these guys, how do they manage the rush? And in both the case of Binnington and the case of Jake Allen, both are exceptional off the rush. They have good adjusted numbers overall, but when you break it down to just rush chances, they're really good there. A little less so. Listen, Swayman's upside is so huge, and he's been really good, amongst the best in the league this year, but he just doesn't see this many rush chances. So it's a little harder to get a read on how he would handle it compared to the other two. I know Binnington's got some, he's got a personality that not everybody loves, but when it comes to stopping pucks behind a team that gives up a lot of grade A's, he's been exceptional. Hard to maintain over a whole year, but from what he stops and what they give up standpoint, he'd be a fit.
All right. Good stuff, Kev. We appreciate it, my man. We'll do it again next Monday. Have a good one.
Thank you, Jason. Have a great week.
That's Kevin Woodley and In Goal Magazine and NHL.com. We'll come back. We'll hear from the new bench boss of the Edmonton Oilers, Chris Knoblauch, on the Jason Gregor Show with Connor Halley, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, live in the UL studio.
Hey world, get ready to believe. At Oodle Noodle, we serve up world-class, worldwide flavors in our sweet, saucy, and fiery noodles. We believe in the power of nudes. We've got everything from saucy mac and cheese to sizzling pad thai to so many other unbelievable dishes sure to make you a noodle convert for life. You've got to taste them to believe it. Don't be a skeptic. The proof is in the noodles. Check us out at oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle. We believe in noodles.
Hey everyone, it's Kelly here from United Sport and Cycle. Christmas is just around the corner, and we've got everything for the athlete and sports fan on your list, including United gift cards. United Sport and Cycle, your Santa's workshop for over 95 years.
With sport and group events returning, are you looking for safe and professional travel options? Look no further than Silent Rides, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca. If you have mobility issues, a residential elevator can allow you to enjoy your home for longer, but finding the right elevator or lift can be daunting. You started with 3 simple questions. What kind of space are you installing the elevator in? How far does it need to travel? And are you interested solely in function, or is the look of your lift important? Make your home more accessible with grounded simplicity, elevated design. Learn more online at trustram.com.
What's better than getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee? Getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee for only $4 plus tax. It's your favorite McDonald's breakfast for less. What's better than that? For a limited time at participating McDonald's in Canada, prices exclude delivery.
Storm chasing sounds exciting. Most days, though, it's a lot of standing in the rain. But you know what's exciting and dry? PlayAlberta.ca. With hundreds of new live tables, online casino games, and instants.
PlayAlberta.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today with promo code Casino50 and get a $50 welcome bonus. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
When you call CBS, you'll speak with a real live person located right here in Edmonton. No 1-800 number, no call centers, no waiting on hold forever. Just trained, experienced, and local service technicians. CBS is Western Canada's largest Konica Minolta factory authorized dealer of multifunction office equipment, printers, software solutions, and mailing machines. Corporate business solutions, local service, local support, local always. Call 780-490-5600 or visit cbsca.com.
Calling plays without a playbook would make it impossible to perform on game day. Without Google AdWords, it can be just as difficult for customers to find you. Don't get stuck in the past. With the help of Sports 1440, you can make sure you're calling the right play every time, getting people in your door. Now that we've stepped into the digital world, we can tell you, every business needs Google AdWords. Because people can't get to you if they can't find you. Google AdWords. Contact us at sports1440.ca.
Hi, Larry Ricci from Vision RV. If you're heading south this winter, remember, we offer acres of inventory. New and pre-owned with some great deals to help you start your journey. Maybe it's your first RV. You've come to the right place. Or maybe you're upgrading. We'll give you top dollar for your trade towards that beautiful new travel trailer, fifth wheel, motorhome, park model, or truck camper. The first choice for Alberta's snowbirds is Vision RV. See what we can do for you. Just south of the Yellowhead on Highway 60.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Watch every single Oilers game at OTR with $4.50 Molson Canadian and the 60-cent wings. Plus, play Oilers score and win, and you could walk away with a ton of On the Rocks gift cards. Oilers hockey at OTR. Book your table today. Jasper Ave and 118th.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Well, we are back here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley is sitting in for the final segment as Gregor makes his way down to the Ice District for the Oilers game, taking on the New York Islanders. Puck drop at about 6:42, I believe Gregor said was the exact time. So if you want to get a little pregame coverage once we wrap up here on the Gregor Show, head over to the Oilers Nation YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube, you're already there, so just hang around. You can join Aaron Bordato for pregaming, and they'll get you all set up for puck drop at 6:30. It says probably closer to 6:42. Right now, we are going to go into the coaching report brought to you by Action Electrical. They're in their 50th year of business, and I'm doing a little reading up on the company here. You can get commercial solar panels. You can do residential paybacks between 6 to 8 years or less. Something to look into for sure. Action Electrical. This brought to you by Action Electrical, as I said. And of course, Chris Knoblauch, speaking to the media today, just announced as the head coach of the team yesterday. Here are some of the thoughts he had going into tonight's game.
First day, you're jumping in on the ice. How do you boil down the message for the players tonight? What do you try to get across?
I try and make it as simple as possible. Obviously, there's got to be changes because of the record, and obviously there's a change of the head coach being the biggest change, but just changing the person up here talking at the podium or in the dressing room or rolling the lines, that's not going to make the difference. But I think it's really important the players feel themselves, feel confident, and put the start of the season behind them. And we've talked about some minor changes to our systems, and we're going to move on from there. And as the season progresses, there'll be more and more changes, but we're not reinventing the wheel. We're not doing anything very drastic. We just got to get better at executing details, and things will look after themselves.
I know you mentioned that yesterday as well, a little bit about frustration, and I think you mentioned pressure. I assume you've seen at least some games or some video of the games. Like, did you sense that even just watching on a screen that there's something just not clicking with the guys?
Oh, absolutely. There's numerous games. I know, a couple of weeks ago, I was watching the Rangers, obviously, because I was affiliated with them. And that game was clear, but especially the Vancouver game, where in the first period, I believe the shots were heavily lopsided, 18-4. And after the second, or going into the second period, you're trailing. But there was domination, and then there's just being over aggressive, trying to score that goal. And then what happens is you're being over aggressive. Forwards are anticipating the defenseman keeping a puck in. Defenseman's chasing a puck that they weren't quite going to get, maybe 50-50, and then it ends up getting chipped out, and you're giving up an odd man rush. And now you're giving up a goal. So the passion is there. The work ethic is there. But I think there's the frustration of, I got to make it happen this shift. And what happens is mistakes are piling up that way.
Chris, we didn't really have time to get into this yesterday, but tonight will be your first game as a full-time NHL head coach. I know you had some games in New York during the COVID year, but you were more there just to fill in. Can you kind of talk about take a moment what this means for you and how exciting it is to be now an NHL head coach?
Yeah, it is quite different. When I was there as interim head coach with New York, it was fun. It was there was no pressure on me. I was there running the bench, and obviously being in the NHL was exciting. And now it's a little bit different. Obviously, when you are the head coach here and it's your position, and your decisions are being questioned and evaluated, obviously there's a lot more pressure. But that being said, I'm just as excited, or even not even more, that it's my call, it's my decisions, and eventually it's going to be my team. It's going to take some time to implement all my systems and all my expectations to the players, but it's a process that I'm really excited to get going.
We saw it today, Connor and Leon, they've been split up a lot, but they played a lot together lately. Do you feel, when having watched and what you've seen apart, is your team better when they're going to center their top two lines, can give you a potential mismatch with both?
Well, I think so. It's a difficult situation. You got two players that have to be on the ice or play a lot. And when they are separated, you're looking at 19 to 23 minutes with McDavid and 19 to 23 minutes with Draisaitl. Well, then you don't have many minutes for the third and fourth line. And it's so important to get your third and fourth line contributing and have an identity. But when the top two lines are playing so much, it takes away from their game, and it creates problems. But, to solve that problem is put Draisaitl and McDavid on the same line, and then there's not that issue. And it's so much easier to roll those lines and get everyone playing. It's going to be a challenge, but I do think we're better off having those two on separate lines. And there's going to be times where they definitely will. Every game, they're going to have shifts that they are together, especially like after penalty kills, after breaks, last shift in the periods and stuff like that. They will be playing together.
Is there a chance?
There you go. That is Oilers head coach Chris Knoblauch as he spoke to the media earlier today ahead of tonight's game as the Oil taking on the New York Islanders down at the Ice District. Probably going to be a good one. Should be interesting to see how the Oilers respond. And we're also hearing now, Mighty Cobra says no one pronounces Knoblauch the proper German way. And it also translates into garlic. I saw that going around the internet earlier today. Mighty Cobra, let us know the proper pronunciation. Is it Knoblauch? Is that how it's supposed to be? We might have to talk to coach and get the proper pronunciation so we don't have any issues with that one going forward. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show today. Big thank you to all of our guests that hopped on. If you missed anything, make sure you head over to Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google, wherever you get your podcast from. Make sure you subscribe and download. We will be back tomorrow. We will have Sean Brown in studio co-hosting, back from vacation, Dave McCarthy, Jason Strudwick, a whole list of the usuals, Mark Spectre as well. Still waiting on that pronunciation for Knoblauch, Mighty Cobra. Get it in quickly here. Big thank you again to everyone who tuned in and joined us on the program today. If you want some Oilers pregame coverage, head over to the Oilers Nation YouTube channel right now. Aaron Bordato going live, getting you set up for this one. We're about 45 minutes away from puck drop. I'm Connor Halley for Jason Gregor. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great night, everyone. We'll be back tomorrow, 2 o'clock here on the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by Play Alberta.
Sports 1440 update.
And I'm back with a Sports 1440 update. The Oilers in action tonight, taking on the New York Islanders. Like I just said, 40 minutes or so away down at the Ice District. Coach Knoblauch making his debut behind the bench for the Oilers. One other game tonight, the Kraken taking on the Avs. That one will get going at 8 o'clock. Week 10 in the NFL wraps up tonight with the Bills taking on the Broncos. Kickoff at 6:15 in that one. In the association, the Wizards lead the Raptors 27-15 in the first quarter. Elsewhere, Knicks up on the Celtics 19-16. Later tonight, the Bulls will be in Milwaukee and the Kings hosting the Cavaliers. Toronto Blue Jays announced the hiring of DeMarlo Hale as their associate manager under manager John Schneider. And one game in the AJ Spruce Grove travels to Grand Prairie to take on the Storm. That'll get going at 7. That does it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. We've got Fox Sports Radio coming up at 9, and then Kevin Carius and Brandon Douglas tomorrow, 7 a.m. with guest host, Hockey Hall of Famer Grant Pierre. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6.